Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the July 27th, 2026 Town of Berlin Regular Select Board meeting. I'm Jared Felch. To my right is Brian Davelbliss and Carlin Weasel. To my left is Chris Hayward and Flo Smith, and also our Town Administrator, Vince Conti. And I call the meeting to order. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda?
So you're muted on there. Oh, I definitely didn't join.
It's just a back feed.
I don't know where it's coming from.
I think it can happen when someone's.
Else. Can you hear us? Oh, okay.
All right, so there was someone on line back for you.
Okay.
We
Sorry. Yes, go ahead. I don't see which hand it is.
Mr. It's John Jose. Jose.
Jose?
Mr. Jose, you have your hand up? Yeah, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
You're muted, Mr. Jose.
How's that?
That's
There you go.
Thanks. Sorry about that. I was having a hard time hearing if you got to the public comments yet.
We haven't quite yet. We're just on additions or changes to the agenda.
Okay, I apologize.
No, you're good.
I'll wait till you're there.
Okay, thank you.
I do have one request. I'd like to just change the order.
Okay,
I'd like to move the consultant from 6:45 up to the personnel policy review and just swap those two,
okay.
just to put him a little earlier on the schedule in case he's had so much fun he doesn't want to stay any longer.
Still fresher.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else? Are we good? Okay, now public comment.
Yes, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I know you folks have a lot on your agenda this evening, but the reason I am joining your meeting is I'm a resident. I'm Montpelier. I'm not a Berlin resident, but I frequent Berlin Pond for the birding and wildlife viewing. And it's quite an amazing amenity for the city, quite an amazing natural resource. And I just had some questions, concerns regarding the ditch maintenance, road scalping that just took place, and my concerns about some potential impacts to the pond, especially if we have a rain event now, the way the ground hasn't been stabilized or anything. And if you can accommodate it, I just wanted to ask some questions and regarding that.
Okay. That's good for questions. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so one of my questions was there's two outflow pipes, one in particular that drained from the ditch under the road and into the pond. And right at the outflow pipes, there was a present riparian vegetation, pondside vegetation, which is really valuable for wildlife and birds and such, and also very important for helping to catch any runoff from the pond. And I noticed that the outflow to the pipe, that vegetation was virtually removed down to bare earth, down to mud, almost to the edge of the pond. And so without that being stabilized, there's a chance for a lot of runoff right at that point. So I was concerned about that, why that vegetation was all
That's where we
removed.
had the meeting. No, it's on the north end.
Okay, sorry, where exactly are you talking about?
I'm sorry, thank you, I apologize. The north end of Berlin Pond along Brookfield Road, there's been some pretty substantial scalping, ditch work that's been done. It extends about 2/10 of a mile. And it's not been stabilized. And the exposed soil has not been stabilized. And some of the ditch runs towards a wetland. And the rest of the water drains into pipes that go under the road and empty into the pond. And my understanding is there's been arrangements made to have hydroseeding done next month. And then the hydroseeding will provide vegetative growth to stabilize the disturbed areas. My concern is, especially with the extent of the rain, the extreme nature of some of the rain events we're having now, having that soil exposed, especially at the outflow pipes, not having any kind of measures in place until the hydroseeding can be done, until the vegetation can grow in the ditches, not having anything in place should we have rain events, especially rain events. And so I just had some questions about like why there was so much vegetation removed at the outflow pipe, if that could have been done differently. And while we're waiting for the hydroseeding to get done, could something be done at the outflow pipes, straw bales, silt fence, or something like that to help catch any sediment, should we have some rain events, that runs through the ditches, through the pipes, and wants to make its way into the pond? I'm concerned about the environmental impacts of the potential amount of sediment that could enter the pond under these circumstances. And it's not just the sedimentation, the soil sediment particles tend to carry phosphorus with them. And phosphorus can stimulate aquatic plant growth. It's called ecologically, it's called a limiting factor. And when you introduce excess phosphorus or additional phosphorus to a natural aquatic system, your plant growth can really start to take off. So yeah, those are my concerns.
I'm not an expert when it comes to this, Chris, so if you don't.
What I can say real quick is I can talk to Tim when he's back on Monday. We can look at, well, it's August, so he maybe have it scheduled for next week to hydroseed it. I don't know.
Okay,
But I can certainly talk to him about moving that up
okay.
if it's an issue, to, earlier rather than later. Maybe changing the schedule around depending on what he's got on his schedule.
And Chris, you were saying that that's the area that they just did culvert work.
Yeah, so slopes, degrees, angles plays a big role into stabilization and what the state requires for stabilization, whether it be matting, straw matting, or silt fence or hydroseeding. So I would have to imagine Tim is abiding by the state regs, even around Berlin Pond. So I haven't seen it. I don't know. I'd be speaking out of line, having not seen what he did.
The depth I can also speak to, right? He's got a ditch to the bottom of the culverts.
Yeah, and I mean, if the culverts are becoming obstructed by vegetation, then obviously it needs to be addressed, so.
Is this, the digging, is it on a cycle like the other stuff that he does around the pond?
Yeah.
So it's on a rotation?
Yeah, absolutely. The ditching, it's, every year he does certain areas to maintain it. He has to do a certain amount to keep up with it every year around town.
I was just thinking like the cutting they did around the pond, it's not an every year deal. It's kind of, it goes through a rotation though.
Mhm.
The roadside mowing is an every year deal though, throughout town.
Mhm.
at a minimum of one path wide of the
That's-
machine.
That's gonna begin pretty soon, right?
Begin this week.
Oh, it started, it looks like.
Started this week.
I thought it was.
Later than normal, but. Yeah, we had other
Everything,
projects.
yeah.
Well, it was his schedule, right? I don't know if he had, additional work, equipment failures. I don't know yet. I haven't been able to talk to him, but. Okay.
Have you talked to to Tim, the road?
He hasn't. yet.
Okay, I was just gonna say, we can't really answer your questions. You might want to just talk to Vince and Tim, and then if you feel like you're not getting what you need, you could come back, put this on the agenda.
Okay, I was hoping possibly one of those folks would be here tonight, but if they're not, I can reach out to them outside of this meeting for sure.
Well, Vince is here, but
Yeah,
Tim's the road expert. Yeah,
It's, John, I'm the guy that you talked to today.
Excuse me.
Earlier
yeah.
today.
Okay, yeah.
but Tim's the one that did the work.
Tim's on vacation this week, so.
I'm on right now.
Oh,
Wonderful.
I didn't even see you join. You snuck in.
Yeah.
So again, he's the guy that can talk about the schedule of what's going on there.
Okay.
did you
What
hear
seems to
that?
be the problem?
So it's talking about the culvert work that you guys just did on Brookfield Road on the
Yep.
pond.
Yeah.
And the ditching with removing some of, and
Yeah.
where we're going, when are we going to be hydro seeding?
That's the key. That's the question. Yep.
Next week.
Next week, okay.
Yeah, we're not required to do it the same day that it's being ditched. I don't know where people come across with that. Like, we have a certain time frame that we have to have that done. And like, there's only 4 of us. We gotta get enough work done before we rent a $6,000. We have mulch and hay also, but I mean, they were trying something new with this hydro seeder, so it's rented for next week, the first week of August. So we're
Okay.
getting enough work to fulfill a week's worth of hydro seeding.
So, but Tim, there's regulation there. You're following the state guidelines, right? Or
Yeah,
rules
I've
or
already
whatever.
talked
Yeah.
to the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission that this gentleman reached out with these, concerns, and everything is within our boundaries, and we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and Keith was more than happy with what we're doing. So we're following what we need to do.
No,
Awesome.
and I appreciate that you're bringing in the hydro seeding as quickly as you are. I don't know if you heard my questions, Tim, but one of my concerns was at the mouth of the pipes where all the vegetation was removed, especially the one pipe up near the boat launch, where
Yep.
the vegetation was removed down to the mud.
It
I'm
wasn't,
just curious about that practice, if you can
it
comment
has to
on
be
that.
low, it has to be lower than the culvert, otherwise the water doesn't drain from our roads.
Okay, so that was that was the reason why that was dug out like that.
It was grubbed off, like we barely took the sod off. We cleaned it up, made it look good,
Yeah,
and it'll be seeded, and our culvert will drain, and that's standard practice against state, municipality, private contractors. Like, your water has to shed away from your roads, otherwise your roads don't drain. And you
sure,
get muddy roads and everything else.
sure. So that you'll get the hydro seal in next week. Will that take a little while to sprout and take hold? Is that correct?
It takes as long as grass seed grows. It all depends on the soil conditions, where it is, how much rain you get in between. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
variables, like, you can't magically make grass grow. Like, it grows when it grows.
Yeah. I just want to put the idea out there. I think this is probably the last comment I have. The idea of at the mouth of the outflow pipes, in between the outflow pipe mouth and the edge of the pond itself, if something else could be done, straw bales, silt fence, something that would be appropriate to help catch any sediment that would otherwise want to run out of those pipes from the ditches while the hydro seed has a chance to do its thing and get established.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate you accommodating me tonight, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks,
Hey, you're
Tim.
welcome.
Any other public comment? No. All right, the NEKCV easement request for 2 cabinets to be installed at the Riverton Fire Station.
We have Karen, excuse me if I don't get this quite right, Kotecki, with us
Yes,
tonight,
it's Kotecki, you got it right.
to speak to that topic. And we
Okay,
also have the
thank you.
fire chief, of course.
Thank you so much. So this is something that CV Fiber started a couple years ago with the town, and we are resurrecting it once again. And we would like to secure an easement from you all for us to construct and maintain what we call an optical line terminal site, which is typically, which is just like you see along the sides of the road all throughout Vermont, concrete pad with either 1 or 2 cabinets, metal cabinets that house the electronics. And these are strategically placed throughout NEK and CV Fiber territory. And basically it's like a mini regenerating station is how I describe it, is the signal comes in off the fiber, off the pole line, or if it's underground fiber, and it goes into the cabinets, it kind of gets, the signal gets regenerated and goes back out again. And in your case in Berlin, it's most likely going to be just 1 cabinet. This is a little bit smaller footprint than we normally get. We normally get a 30 by 30, but because of the size of the fire station property, we're proposing just a 25 by 25 area. And we wanted to construct hopefully this summer, but given the late start date, it might not happen again until, or it might not happen until early spring. But if you need to know that, I can certainly get you that information. And I'm happy to work if the town has an attorney. I can work. I sent you our easement template, but I can work with your town attorney. And for any kind of revisions or anything like that, with eventually the expectation that you would sign in, an upcoming meeting. And I'm pretty sure you guys have zoning, so I probably need to get a zoning permit as well.
Yes.
Yep.
Chris, you got some questions?
I do. Are you guys a nonprofit?
We're a municipality. It's a nonprofit municipality is what we are. I can
Okay.
send you the actual legal definition via email if you'd like. Is the fire station going to stay in this location, or is it going to be turned over? I believe the town now owns the property. I haven't done any record research on it recently. At the time that we were pursuing this a couple years ago, I know it was the fire department, but now the town, I guess, I understand you guys own it.
Yes.
Okay.
So another thing to consider, Joe, you were a little bit to do with that, right? So,
Yes, I was.
so based on some of the measurements that I saw, the well is right in that same area.
So there is the Arctic well.
And then there's the railroad box.
Yes.
And so I believe the footprint would be on the railroad side as well. That, I don't know, 25 foot, you'd have 25 feet at that point. So then you would have to come to the road to clear the well and still have your 25 feet from the railroad.
So from the railroad track, it's 22 feet to their box from the edge of track.
Edge of track.
Yeah.
And we were proposing to go to the left of that, correct?
To the left of the well?
Well, I
left
don't
of
know
the
where the well
box.
is. I don't know where the well is, with the box, the railroad box.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, the proposal was for the left of the box.
Right.
So,
I think we had it, I think we actually staked it a couple years ago. I'm sure they're gone now.
So the well is like right here.
And where's the railroad box?
I guess the question would be, what's the right way of the rail?
There.
What's the right of way of the rail?
Yeah.
You have to be 50 feet from the center of the railroad. The center of the railroad track.
Ooh, okay, that's gonna put you on pavement.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
doesn't work.
I kind of remember that. I kind of, how about this? since you guys are a new board and now, we're dealing with the town versus the fire department. I would love to have one of our construction manager meet with somebody from the town to go out there and look to see if this is even feasible. I mean, does that make sense at this juncture?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, the site visit.
Okay. Okay, because I don't recall a conversation about a well, so that would obviously be very important, right? So who should I get in contact? Is it Vince or?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Vince, I've got your email. So why don't I get with NEKCV? I actually have a weekly call with them tomorrow at 2. I'll let them know that we need to get back out here and do a physical site visit in the field to determine if this is even going to be feasible for all parties.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you guys for considering it. Everybody wants high-speed internet and broadband, right? So we're kind of in a yank to get this going, but I appreciate your time. And I will, Vince, I'll reach out to you as well.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
All right,
Thanks.
take care. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Just gonna go, use this, Joe.
Joe, Chris, I'll let you
Sal,
know.
we need to have,
I'll let the whole board know when it's scheduled.
okay.
Let's do that, and then,
Well, we could
those that want to
site
say,
visit over there and update her and it's not. So,
Well, if that was gonna happen, that I'd go, but take a look at this.
all right, Central Vermont Runners Special Event Permit for approval.
I believe Mr. Ammons is here today.
Yes, my wife is.
Hi.
Hi there. So this race has been going on for approximately 30 years.
Awesome.
And Sue and I, between us, have been race directors for the last 15 years.
Wow.
And we certainly appreciate the town letting the club host the event here. And so the race is coming up next month, and we're just here to answer any questions about the logistics that you might have.
I think the question that always comes up, and it's come up in the past, and this is for you, Tim, as well, is the signage. We talked a
Yeah.
little bit about
We
that.
did.
You might want to let them know what the plan for signage is in their highway supers online, so he can hear it as well.
Right, so the race is on Thursday evening at 5:30, and the Sunday before the race, Sue and I come out and we post warning signs. And so to notice that a race is going to be happening on Thursday, August 13th, and we give the time of the race. And we post that at the 2 main intersections at either side of the pond. And then on the day of the race, before the race starts, we're out on the course and we have race in progress signs in every intersection. The race in progress signs are there. And so we've had the signage well marked. The runners stay on the left-hand side of the road, and all the turns are left turns to get around the pond. And the runners really do stay on the left-hand side of the road facing traffic.
Vehicles, like the runners' vehicles, where do you usually park? Stop?
Right
Okay,
there.
awesome.
Yeah, they're not allowed to park down there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and they make their way on foot over to the start line.
We tell them it's a good one.
Yeah.
Why not?
How many typically are there? Just curious. Runner.
Most we ever had was almost 90
Huh.
years ago.
Oh, wow.
Almost
Almost
10 years
ago,
ago.
Yeah.
But there, it averages about
7 is
70.
pretty
Yeah.
typical.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Chris, are you gonna be there?
Probably won't. Maybe next year, maybe next.
You can walk.
You ever see the need for like any aid stations set up along your route?
Yeah, it's at the far end of,
It's at the halfway mark.
what's the road that?
Mirror Lakes.
Mirror Lake.
Yeah. And there's a safe place.
He
where
could
they-
go for that.
I could run the chase vehicle if anybody goes down.
Yes, there is. There's someone's there. Really, 2 people manning that, for the waters.
I think the audience is questioning my physical ability.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
I'll move to approve the special event permit for the Central Vermont Runners Club Road 5-mile road race on August 13th, 2026.
And I'll second that.
Okay.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks. You there.
You can leave if you'd like, yes.
I mean, you're
You
welcome.
know, hey,
You're always welcome, but you don't have to.
Have a
Nice
nice
to
night.
meet you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Riverton wastewater facility discussion.
Yeah, Mr. Coltrera was supposed to join us tonight, but I don't see him here or online. We could, if he joins later, I guess we could
We can circle back around.
circle back if you choose, Mr. Chair, but
I'm just curious what was to discuss.
he came in and made a request to get on the meeting to speak to the board about, to hear out his thoughts on why it was important to talk about and maybe move forward. Yeah. So I said, yep, I can get you on the agenda.
That is this. That's the owner of the property where the
That's the owner, right?
treatment plant was.
Yeah.
Leach field, right?
The super duper.
Okay.
I say we just move on.
Yeah, so we move on. Update on Payne Turnpike sidewalk design requests.
Yep, we have Mr. Gozakowski back with us tonight, and a couple others, I believe, with him as well. They're online.
Good evening, everyone. We are here. Jim and Jack have joined me as well. So we have continued advancing the Berlin sidewalk projects for both Payne Turnpike North and the Fisher Road segments. And we're continuing to advance toward the submission in early August. During the last meeting when I was away, a question came up regarding the possibility of exploring using pavement markings on at least Payne Turnpike North, I assume both, instead of constructing a sidewalk, and if that was possible, to be a potential solution that might provide a different method of accommodating pedestrians than constructing a separate sidewalk. We did look into it, and it basically providing that striped pavement marked sidewalk is not the only thing that will be required to provide the pedestrian facilities. It specifically is a public right-of-way accessibility guideline, or PROWAG, you may have heard of it in that expression, requirement regarding the slope of the actual area where the pedestrians would travel. That's going to be the biggest challenge that we would encounter if we tried to do that. Instead of the standard slope, which is usually 3/4 of an inch per foot, it's more like a 2% cross slope, 2.1% specifically, would be the maximum allowed. So even if you were attempting to stripe a sidewalk area, you would have to make modifications to the shoulder to address that slope, which is normally closer to 6% than 2%. So we can share more information on that if anyone is interested, but we did look into it and ran across state and federal guidance that would limit the ability to do that. So before I move on, any specific questions you want to bring up regarding that?
I guess I'm not understanding. So is the road's not gonna be any wider with that stripe and than it is with the sidewalk, right? So you're gonna have to fill for the sidewalk. I guess I'm not understanding why it would be any different.
So the only sidewalk I've seen with a 6% slope is over by Shaw's last winter.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, but I guess my point is the fact that the slope, there needs to be side road work doesn't preclude that, right?
Right.
You'd have to
And-
do that for the sidewalk anyway.
Right, and let me be a little clearer.
Okay,
This request, as I understand it, and Jim and Jack, correct me if I misstate this, was basically instead of constructing a separated sidewalk away from the roadway, what would you be able to accomplish if you use the pavement surface itself put a line stripe down to create the appearance of a sidewalk that is on the roadway.
Right, so
Okay.
essentially using the shoulder as a sidewalk or
But-
a walkway.
So the same thing was done down by McDonald's, Burger King, Dollar General. Fastenal was there at that time. I don't know if they still are, Ormsby's. I don't recall any modifications to the asphalt down there where they did a line change.
Oh, they have sidewalks.
Dale, it might help if you show the drawings. I think you have some concept drawings that shows the slope and the differences.
Yep.
That might help. I think that's the
This would be
confusion,
a lot
is
wider.
the slope requirements.
And Jack, if
Sorry,
you could
there's
share
a
those.
drawing.
Over you.
Is there a drawing?
Right. And Jack, if you would lead us through what you've got up on the screen.
Yeah, sure. So at the top of the screen is the existing section of roadway for Payne Turnpike or Fisher Road. So generally on both roads, you have a 12-foot turn lane or travel lane rather. And then today the shoulders aren't striped. It's just a wide asphalt shoulder. It's about 5 feet on Payne Turnpike, 7 to 8 feet on Fisher Road. And in typical highway construction, and it's true for these roads, your travel lanes are generally sloped at 2%, and then your shoulders are a little steeper at 6%, and that helps to shed water off of the roadway into the ditches. And the problem with that, when we go to, if we were to, as the comment last time suggested, if we were to add a stripe to kind of designate that shoulder as a walking area, in order to meet the PROAG federal requirements and VTrans requirements, that has to be an ADA accessible route, which means your cross slope has to be 2% or less. And that's for wheelchair stability, so people can navigate that and not tip over, because 6% would be too steep of a crossfall. So how we would have to accomplish that would be basically milling out that shoulder and then wedge and level it up with asphalt. So instead of building a sidewalk, bi-directional sidewalk on one side of the road, you'd basically have to repave both shoulders. And that's because based on the Vermont state law, state vehicle and traffic statute, if pedestrians walk in the road, you have to walk against traffic, as I think everyone knows, but that's actually codified in the Vermont statute. So we would have to basically repave both shoulders, and where that, for one, it becomes expensive, and also in a few areas it's a road where there's curves, it's banked, and again, it's the way highway geometry works. We wouldn't be able to raise up the low side of those banked curves to 2%, just because if you can picture a banked section where you're steeper, kind of like a NASCAR track going around a curve, that slope of the travel lane basically has to extend across the shoulder in order to drain. So if you tried to raise that low side of the roadway to 2% for ADA, you'd end up with icing and ponding. It's just generally not something that we would deem feasible in highway design generally. So
as long as it's flat, it's deemed part of the roadway.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
As long as there's no rise, it's deemed roadway. Because I'm confused as to why it has to be on both sides, and you said because it's like if it was a sidewalk, it's only gonna be on one side.
Right, and that's
Correct.
because the sidewalk would be physically separated from the road.
And you could walk either direction on the sidewalk.
Right, but so what if it was flat and separated from the road by, I don't know.
Sounds so ridiculous to me.
Huh?
It just sounds ridiculous.
I'm just asking because one of the concerns is just maintenance. And of course, if you're gonna separate it, you're still gonna have a problem with maintenance, so. Anyway, I'm just trying to understand sort of what the.
On the road, they have to walk against traffic.
So it has to be on both sides.
No, that's what I mean, because they said it was considered the roadway, considered, or,
Yes.
so that's what I was getting at, is
Yep.
what the difference was.
So let me get this right. People can walk down it today. They're not gonna be cited with a ticket. You can go down it with a wheelchair safely outside of, you might be close to the yellow line. To spend over $2 million on this is, it just blows my mind. Yet we can't do a simple line shift because of a slight slope deviation. I mean, blows my mind.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
providing that information. I appreciate, we appreciate that and for explaining it to me.
Making sense to me. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but sidewalk only has to be on one side, but if a line shift has to be on both sides, because it's part of the roadway.
And then there's a potential we don't have to maintain it for certain periods of time. So it's usable from some of the previous meetings, the way I understood. So
Which was kind of, like I,
it sounds so
we were
contradictory.
told that like, well, they're not very particular about how you maintain it. It's almost like, I don't want to play on that line.
Yeah. Well,
Carlson, live on Flint Ridge Road, evening, everybody. I share Mr. Hayward's skepticism of this, but I'd also like to remind the board that very soon you're going to have a bunch of 60,000 pound dump trucks with front wing, front plows and side wings traveling up and down that road. And that's really not going to be compatible with pedestrian or bike traffic on the road. I understand what you're saying, that, you can do it now. You said safe that. I don't know if I'd agree that it's safely, it's done or could be done.
I mean,
I'm also saying that the Barry Montpelier Road experiment was a complete failure, and that is not any safer than it was before with the road diet they did on there. I'd also share that same concern with any narrowing of the roadway lanes itself. Like I said, you're going to have, the state trucks come down and, loaders and everything else, in addition to the fire trucks and ladder trucks and everything else, using that road. It's not exactly a good mix, with pedestrians and our trucks like that.
so the state's obtained most of the realty down through there. Maybe they should be more concerned with pedestrian traffic than it being a town matter.
I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I think other town boards had the opportunity to weigh in on that and failed to do so.
Copy.
I think they weighed in, but they didn't have, because they don't have to, they didn't do it.
From my understanding, they would have to if the board says so. I understand there's a disagreement between the DRB and the state as to what the actual authority of the town over state properties is. That the fact that the state says we're totally exempt from town zoning regulations is.
Not totally, it's very specific in statute what they have to pay attention to.
And technically, we could bag this whole project at any time. So
The sidewalk or the state garage.
the sidewalks,
The sidewalk.
and we not have any liability.
I'm not saying that's not a good idea.
And I just lost my train of thought on that one, but it'll come right back to me.
It's just a shame we have over $100,000 already in this.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Oh, and there's no numbers of how many people are using it. There's a projection. And I mean, there's a projection I could win the lottery, so, but that doesn't mean I go spend $2 million thinking I might win. I mean, you could project all day numbers, but until it happens, and I think we're putting the cart before the horse, my opinion, on this project. But that's my opinion.
Totally agree with you on that.
I think we're,
Well, I think we got ourselves into a position that, it's the dog chasing the car. Now that you caught the dog, what caught the dog?
cart before the horse.
Car, what are you gonna do with it? And now we've got the money now, Now what do we do with it? And
I mean, people run, they ride bikes and everything down Route 12 I see them every day because I'm on Route 12 every day. Maybe they're here too, and I don't see them. Very highly possible, but they're doing it everywhere. I mean, they're gonna have a race around Berlin Pond, and I don't know how safe that is on gravelly roads, but they're willing to do it at their leisure and liability, I guess. I don't know, it seems like an awful lot for something there's not much support for, that I've seen.
was there preliminary numbers on what the usage would be?
So I saw a report that was done and it really had nothing to do with,
It was
With
for
that.
the multi-use.
It
That
was
was the original.
At the mall.
at the mall.
Okay.
That's the last survey for something like that. That's when that.
Give some information about, wanting to have walkability in the area, but it was really about the multi-use path.
now, if this was a sidewalk down the face of the mall with all the traffic
Right.
and all the people and all the stores, I could get behind it, but
I think that would get used less. You wanna know the
I
truth?
seem to remember that being.
no, I mean the sidewalk.
It was the initial.
All the way down
concept was to be around.
It's there now. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, people are on that every day.
Yeah, but mostly they just park across from the store they wanna go into.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is that, but
I think it's more about the people that are, the housing, well, whatever.
I think it was a plan for the future with the multi-use path within the mall with adding more housing and having more businesses there.
Right, and honestly, I have had, talked with Vince, I would prefer the multi-use path, obviously. And it was not, the pricing at the time, although I'm sure that's gone up, was less.
Mhm.
But the work, there's no way to get that project shovel ready by the time we need to get it shovel ready at this point, because it was just a concept. There's no actual plan, design done. And the mall was not, because of all what was going on over there, they didn't want to engage in that, I guess, at the time. And it's their lane. So, I mean, that would be my preferred project, but I just don't think that there's any way that we can get that ready to use this money for that.
I was willing to go with a line shift until the new discovery over this evening, and it just doesn't sound feasible and practical and really worth doing.
So I have a couple of questions for the board, based on what I'm hearing with the discussion at this point in time, and what may be options out there. Right, so we have a new person that is in our regular meetings from the for the CDS spending for that funds. I owe him an update after this meeting to give him a feel for, we talked about reallocating the funds should this sidewalk project fall through with the board. At the last meeting, I had a conversation with him regarding that. Could we reallocate those funds within the new town center back to the original concept without much issue as far as reallocating those? What I don't know is if they'd be willing to extend the deadline date. That would be the next question. If the board desires, I can ask him. But that's going to require, if we go back to the original concept, discussions with the mall as well. I do have another wild thought to throw out there to the board as well, based on the conversation tonight. If it can't go down Payne Turnpike, what about through the school property and on the backside of the state garage property? There's no permitting issues for the state through there if they're willing to work with us to allow it run through the backside of their property to connect to Fisher Road.
Isn't that all wetland?
Yeah.
But
I would
That's
think
the
so.
wetland.
but if we work with the state, they're building up to it, right? On the
Well,
back
that's
of their
not good
property.
practice, Ben.
Well, I'm just, it's an option for another multi-use path that's not on the roadway.
I think a lot of concern there with safety.
Yeah, it would be,
The-
but I'm just throwing it out as an option.
It's crossing the wetlands, because we had looked at, because it would be part of the bridge.
I understand it's crossing the wetlands, but they're building up to the wetlands, right? The state, if they partnered with us, the backside of their property won't be on the wetlands. Could it be? At the end of the day, at the end of the day, now I'm gonna get really, at the end of the day, with the state, right? Don't we have some ability to negotiate with them? Our zoning regulations require sidewalks for new development.
Right.
They're telling us, no.
So I don't think we should do it at all then.
I'm afraid to waste more,
I mean,
to spend more money on a project and then.
So we bag.
Is there a state representative here today or?
No, there isn't. I thought they were gonna come, somebody was gonna come from the state, but they didn't, so.
Overtime must not have been granted.
So I just need to know from my side as well, what my next steps are with this. For the board at this point. What do I talk to the Eric, I believe is his name, from the CDS. Correctional Directed Spending Office.
I mean, what I've heard from residents, they don't want this.
Oh, that's my other point.
I mean,
Do we
We have
have
a
to
public
even
hearing.
have another public hearing at this point? On this?
Would we have time with the spending?
We have time for a public hearing for sure, if we want to go down that road.
Because there's a date on this, right?
Okay, well, it's got to be obligated by the September of 27.
All the talk we had, nobody showed up.
Yes.
From my stand, again, this is my opinion, my standpoint, nobody showed up to really request that it's done with a good cause. Well, with any cause for that matter, nobody showed up. So for me, in my opinion, so it's clear, I don't support it.
a public hearing.
And again, the progression of any more sidewalk talk,
I think the assumption of going that way of not getting, at least putting it out there for the residents to have at least one more say in this. Is there's gonna be talks about what have happened in the past. And I don't want that to happen to us. I feel like we've been a very open board with our residents. We've gone to many different places across town for our residents. This is a big subject that we've had many different meetings on. I agree with you. There haven't been residents to come to those meetings, even seeing them, warned and everything. I think it's in our best interest to at least put it out there one more time for the residents to see. We want their input on this before we go any further.
I don't disagree with that, but I just wonder, are we going to spend more money while we put this off? Are we going to continue to spend money on something?
We'll have the plans either way. We're, at this point, it would make sense to get the plans so that we have them on the shelf for a shovel-ready project.
Right, never, right,
So, stopping now would mean we threw away all that money.
right. We threw away the $100,000.
yeah, but are we gonna continue and then throw, so we're 160,000 plus or minus X amount of thousands. Currently, are we gonna end up at 200 or 225,000 and still not have anything other than some paper? And not agree to it,
But the good news, the good thing about it is that if you have the plans drawn, it actually ready to go, there's money of two things. You all know that I don't agree with not using the money, because I think that this is an investment that we're going to have to make eventually, and it's only gonna cost more down the road. Do I think it's the best project in the world? No, but it's been we did commit that money and we did get that funding, which it may seem easy because we've been talking about all this money we're getting. It's
Right.
hard to get that money.
but how much more are we gonna spend? What's,
I don't think they're
what's the
that far away
projection?
from having the design.
Right.
I can't answer that question. They'd have to answer that question, but,
Dale, how far are you from like a final design?
We are targeting preliminary plans for early August, which will basically have the substantial typical section and limits of disturbance defined, enough to begin the environmental permitting review process. So it's a good intermediate stopping point, and typically doesn't result in a tremendous number of changes unless there's a change of heart by someone who's a key player in the process.
okay, thanks. So
So right now, you're saying that we have some time to hold this public hearing before we move forward. If we move forward. Dale?
I'm not sure. Were you directing that question to me?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't, I heard the question, but I guess I'm not sure if I can speak to the context of it. What I can answer is we are literally a couple of weeks away from making the submission, which is the predominant effort for the design. And that can be what you use for your public meeting. If you choose to have one, that can be what you use for your permits, if they're pursued. And also, if you have coordination with Active 50 or others that are required, you'd have the details provided to secure approval if the project goes forward. You'd also have a construction estimate at that point as well for what the actual cost would be.
You have all the information at that point.
Right.
It still has time. We still have time to have the public hearings and then decide which way to go at that point.
Well, we did find out we're not exempt from permitting as far as the cost.
Correct.
Right.
So that's
So
another,
that's
another
hold it
tie-in.
before
Right.
we apply for the permits. So
So we
we'll have,
should-
as you said, for a public hearing.
Yep.
What we should have, we'll have a completed drawing package and a rough estimated cost as well
So the meeting should be
for the public. Then they have the information to make a decision, should you decide to go that way.
so it sounds like the meeting would be after the 4th or whenever that,
Correct.
yeah.
Yep.
But it should probably be quickly,
2
fairly.
weeks out for him to have that information, and then we would schedule shortly after that, once that information's available.
It'd be after the
schedule a public
primaries.
hearing.
Right, it'd be after the August 11th primaries that we would have that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, just curious, Dale, how many people are working on this project? You say 2 weeks. Is that 2 guys? Is that a team of 15?
Between Jim, Jack, and I were on it each part-time, with some CAD support as well. So
Okay.
certainly not 2 and certainly not 15, but probably between them. And, probably closer to a half a dozen at most at one point, but not full-time.
Just thinking numbers. No, I get it. I understand. That's what we're here for, is numbers. Yeah. No, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. And making sure that we're doing the best for our residents. So.
I think the problem you're gonna run into is, my understanding is, it was the timing is because of a presidential direct. Usually there's no time limit.
Right.
So
The funds have to be
After the change in the office, I doubt we're gonna be able to extend the deadline.
Well, that's a conversation I'll have with again, I think his name is
That
Barry.
wouldn't be a good thing, but, so,
I'll refrain from my.
I think that, that you can ask, because that would be great if we could extend the time.
Dale, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I heard in the meeting with the last meeting with the state was that there is some time, we have some time in the schedule for this to still have the funds obligated by the 27th, September of 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Understood.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's an issue if they want to hold a public hearing.
I think the clarification to that, and the answer is yes, we'll start with yes. And I think the clarification is the bulk of the time remaining between September 27 is related to right-of-way and acquisition. Right, which
That's what I heard.
that's where the time, the balance of the time is. So it would be very prudent if you're going to have this out in the public to have it out here in August or September early, to basically either support the project or abandon it. And then either you continue forward because you have something that's viable and you still have time to meet that September 2027 date and get the 1.6 million from the grant, or you stop at that point because you're not going forward, at least with this funding.
So my recommendation is that we hold this public hearing. Get the information to the residents. Whether we hold
vote at that meeting at the time and let the residents decide on this. I mean, I'll tell you what I've heard. It's a big, we don't want this. It's a sidewalk to nowhere. I mean, that's a,
Part of it is the messaging, not from, not from you.
no, I'm just, you know, every
but-
time I go through Shaw's, I get pulled aside from many different residents, and this is the hot topic that they talk about. And it's, I feel that it is our obligation, though, to put this out in front of them to make them feel that they have a part in this. That's my
I
recommendation.
would also recommend that the planning commission talk to, or I think there needs to be a conversation about the town center and what the new rules are, and does this impact that and all that.
Yep.
Very deal. Take care.
Good night. Don't know here, you're evaluating.
Well, only because I worry more about the, as you know, I mean, I'm a broken record, the implications for the town center, the implications for the.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
No, I think all information needs to be put out there.
Yep.
And I think that's our obligation to the residents is to have.
Tell me the board's pleasure so I know my direction. So.
I mean, I agree with having, I understand the reason to hire a meeting from the town. I understand, I get that. Again, I'm just gonna go back to saying, how much are we gonna spend more? Knowing what the residents are gonna tell us. I don't want to assume what the residents are gonna tell us, but we have a pretty good idea of what we're gonna get.
I think we just found out they're almost done. It gives us a plans to move forward.
I understand they're almost done, but like, how much more are we spending to get that done?
I don't know, but I think based on what
Hard
we've
to put a
already
number on
spent.
that. I would guess it'd be in line with the project that we just saw with Otter Creek, right? There's some work being finalized and closed out and done. We're getting the invoices for those, and you saw some more tonight, which should be the last.
So that was close to like 50,000, right? Rough numbers,
Yeah.
rough numbers.
So again, it's probably not gonna be a lot different, but
So 210,000. Roughly.
He said
Where would it be
possibly
at?
other options, other places to put it. Did I hear you say that, checking with somebody?
yeah, I mean, I could have conversations with the state. Right?
I think that would end up being probably more.
But again, you know, there'll be concerns with that, just like there are with this, right? And I agree with
You're putting a bridge across.
safety concerns if we're going through that route, right? So.
Exactly, yeah.
There's ways to mitigate some of that, but lighting and whatnot, but it adds to the cost as well, so.
I like the idea of you asking to see if we can get an extension. See if there's any other possibilities.
And then the other possibility is to talk to the mall again, see if they'd reconsider back to the original concept.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they said no to. I think they just wanted to postpone it
We've done that.
because of what was happening with their other development.
Oh,
You okay?
wow, I'm so glad you didn't
I
call.
think we need to invest in some safer chairs.
Oh, boy.
I mean, those chairs have been around since before I was at Berlin Elementary School.
What I have to say.
Sorry about that, Ron.
Like you're-
It wasn't intentional, Ron.
Sherry told me to sit in.
It had his name on
He
it.
was set up, it's even a different color.
That means you went past your time for me, I guess.
It doesn't hurt to have the meeting.
It's just we need to have something in the next 2 weeks.
I'll work with Dale.
Yeah.
On a schedule when he anticipates the information being ready. And then I'll notify the board of some options of dates around that time. And we can set it that way.
What are your thoughts, Well?
I'm going to be the one that, says what I've said before. And I totally respect your desire to have a meeting with the residents, but like you and what you've said, I've had many come to me and express that they're not for it, including a well-known engineer. And I think the residents in the town know that I'm all about care and concern. And so it doesn't come lightly when I say that I'm not in favor of moving forward or looking to extend it or the what ifs with them all. I at the same time respect everything that's going into it and has gone into it. There's a lot of money that's been expended. I'm concerned with, like Chris said, you know, about the what ifs in terms of how much more would we spend? I just think we're extending the inevitable to have the meeting with the residents or look at all of the what ifs. I just think we should abandon it. And it's not for lack of trying or what everyone has done.
So
That's
Flo,
where
how
I'm
many
coming
times
from.
do we have Pine Hill on the agenda to talk?
I don't think that that's something that we're bringing up here, Carla. I
I'm
think
just
that's
saying, we
disrespectful.
wanted to give them all the opportunity to talk about the paving. We're just trying to give them another opportunity to come forward. If people don't want it, that's fine, but we also should give people that don't necessarily come forward and say, yay, I want to do this, the opportunity to come forward, and maybe no one will, but what's the harm in having a meeting?
I didn't say there was any harm in having it. I was asked for my opinion and I've given it.
No, I
So
mean,
I stand firm with that.
your opinion on the project, but what's your opinion on the meeting?
I think I stated that I think it is just extending what could be the inevitable in terms of, I think there's enough folks on the board right now that are not in favor with moving forward. And so I think having a meeting to bring the residents forward would be inevitable to the fact that there's an atrocious amount of people that are not in favor of it. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess we need to make a decision on which way we're going. If we are going to hold the meeting or we're not going to hold the meeting, and we make that decision tonight. I guess I'll make a motion if I need to hold a public meeting for the residents in regards to the Payne Turnpike.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Ayes have it. So we will not be holding a public meeting. Anyone else want to make a motion? I will say, I truly feel that the residents should have a say in this. It's just the one thing I will say, but I respect where you guys are coming from on this.
Dale, can there be an estimate of how much more it's gonna take? I mean, not holding you guys to anything, but.
Yeah, I can provide that this week. I don't have that number off the top of my head.
I mean, if it's 5,000 or if it's 50,000, I think that's a huge factor. Just on the completion of that design to have it for the future.
Yeah, I'd have to assess it. I don't know that answer off the top of my head. But I could provide that answer this week.
Vince, are we responsible for all that 165,000 right now, or is it still, okay, the town is responsible for that?
Yes.
Unless we go forward with the project.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think that's an important factor, whether this moves forward at all or gets terminated. I don't know if that would be tonight or if that would be at the next meeting, but.
It's the board's call. I can put it on the agenda again at the next meeting.
And I think, like I stated, nobody showed up here to any of these meetings. There were people showing up as far as the Riverton project went. And,
but again, we have no on either side. Like with Riverton, we had 90 people show up.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally against it. But we held that meeting for them. Granted, there was other things that we held at that meeting.
So if I
for Riverton side.
And in the past budget, we reserved 200,000. And then looking at the current budget that we'll be looking at soon,
200,000.
that would be where another 200,000 would come into play. So
Right.
we have reserved from the past 200,000.
Right, because the town's
Right.
now up for 400,000 if we did go through.
Mhm.
That's my thing is like, we we did some extra steps, in my opinion, for Riverton. We sent out the mailings. We were very adamant about getting on Front Porch Forum, getting out there and talking to people, having one resident who actually went door to door, not necessarily someone on the board.
Oh, and they so
You know,
appreciated that.
went to door to door.
Mhm.
And I agree, but nobody's shown up on either side in Berlin as far as this project.
Correct.
So does that leave us as the decision makers? I kind of feel that it does. Again, my opinion,
Mhm.
on the matter.
I just feel with things that have been done in the past, residents have felt like we've left them out of making decisions. Not saying that they wouldn't be happy if we decided not to go forward with this. I just feel that we've done it so far as a board. Been very good about going to locations. We've been very good about addressing those concerns with residents, having a one-on-one with them, and I understand that they're invited to every single one of these meetings. But we've held special meetings for certain things that residents have brought to each one of us.
I guess we have to decide, do we feel okay spending the extra money? So we get the finished plans. Pretty much knowing what the outcome's gonna be. I guess that would be the question I have.
I think what we need to really look at though is we've already spent $165,000.
Can I interject just a minute?
Yep, go ahead, sir.
Right now,
Yeah.
I hate to say this, but we're gonna spend that money anyway.
Right.
He's gonna work 2 more weeks,
Right.
as he said, to go to the public hearing to have all the information, right? So we're gonna spend a majority of that money anyway, unless the board decides tonight to kill it, to be quite blunt. That's the only way the money's gonna stop tonight.
Right. The only thing I would say, I'm calling you, just 1 second, sorry. Is we've already spent $165,000 on plans that are not finished. If we have plans in 2 weeks and we do spend that, and I understand where you're coming from. If anyone feels about, we all feel that we shouldn't be spending extra money. I get it. But right now, if we close it tonight, we're literally taking 165,000 and just going, okay, we're done. It's in the past.
But we might do.
And we don't have those plans. Right, we may do that in 2 weeks,
And we likely will.
but we have plans to put on the shelf that in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, however may it be, that we can pull those plans off and say, okay, we've got big ready plans, we can go forward with this.
Well, based on where we're at, they're not gonna get scrapped or burned. We paid for them. We own where the project is at.
They're just not complete, is what I'm saying. So it would be an extra cost, even more so.
If you pull it off the shelf, it's gonna be additional money you're gonna spend anyway.
Right.
And probably a little bit more if it's 10 years down the road.
Right. Oh, definitely, yeah.
So.
That's just my,
That's an under.
yes, sorry.
If there was a public hearing, could you just go with what we have already and not spend more money on it? And just get the public input and just let them know this is as it is now?
I think why Vince had brought that up for us to have kind of all of that as a package saying, this is the full construction cost. This is the plans that we have. Because we're gonna, I think we're gonna get asked that question is, well, what is the total cost of the construction for everything? Right now, we just have what that cost of that plan is of the 1 point, I think of the largest one was like 1.8 or 1.9 million. We don't have a full construction plan. So I think that's why we had suggested maybe waiting the 2 weeks and then doing that. I mean, we could go with what we have now with, okay, this plan. Yeah,
If they don't even know the cost, then if they want to go to a public hearing, having that in mind, not knowing, they just might not want it anyways at the 1.8. Knowing it might cost more
no, that's a good point.
if you want public input.
No, I appreciate, yeah, no, 100%, yeah.
If it's not gonna cost us anything to do a public meeting other than some flyers, I guess.
Do you have a, do you have an idea of what the cost was for the Riverton meeting events? Those flyers and things?
No. For the flyers and things?
Well, the mailers you sent
The
out,
mailing,
people.
that was less than $1,000.
I got a brilliant idea. Didn't say it. We should make a sign that says sidewalk, will you use it? Go up on this date.
Oh, to get them to the meeting?
That should be our investment. If people are using it, they're so adamant about using it, there's hundreds of people that I'm not seeing using it every day. I guess they'll show up if they really want it. And maybe people driving by and say, boy, that just sounds ridiculous. Maybe they'll show up to protest it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the costs we have invested and then not even counting the permit fees, which when I saw the ones for the garage, I was like, well, baby.
Yeah,
I mean,
the cost is just gonna continue
it
to,
stinks that we have that much money in it right now,
I agree.
as far as.
You know, if there were people arguing for it, I'd have a totally different perspective.
I'll put the motion out there as well, whether it passes or not, that we abandon the project at this juncture based on all of our discussions this evening.
We have a second?
I don't support the sidewalk, so I guess I would second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Already has it.
I think the lack of efforts put into it from the beginning are a huge factor for me. There's no support. Of pedestrian use. I think moving forward, I think the zoning administrator and the planning commission should do a better job getting those preliminary things sorted out before projects reach 160,000 or 200,000 or $50.
The one thing I'll say to that is, when we had a meeting, it was myself, Bethany, the planning commission chair, and Vince. There's a process that we're gonna follow, and that's what we're doing with,
Going forward.
going forward.
That's kind of finalizing
Right.
now and getting in place with the planning commission.
Yeah.
Right. You will see what that is, and you'll have the ability to ask questions once they forward a concept or
Yeah.
plan or a thought for a project through that process to the board.
And I think it's unfortunate that wasn't done in this case or any of the others.
I'm not sure that, I would like to dispel the notion that there was no communication between the zoning or the planning commission and the select board, because that is just not true. And it frustrates me that I appreciate all the communication talk, but it's not like we were not communicating for the last number of years. And once again, I know I'm beating a dead horse. The reason we did do preliminary stuff, there was a survey, but it was on the original project.
Mhm.
And it got shifted and it was notified, it was talked about, it got shifted when the money was not gonna be available to do the multi-use path. So this was a little unusual because of the timing and the way that, and that change in the deadline of the ability to use the money. But all those steps were taken, it just veered off because of the timing of the money.
Yeah, and I understand that. I read through that whole survey, and unfortunately, it didn't have anything to do with this.
Well, it has to do with walkability, but you're right, it was focused on the multi-use path. I agree with you.
It's a totally different design, totally different
And-
location.
And I accept that. but it was an effort to try to utilize the funds in a way that it's going to have to happen at some point.
So between then and now, it was still never done. A different survey.
I have no idea. I'm
Right.
guessing not.
It wasn't.
I'm
Right.
guessing not.
Yeah.
But I don't think that at that point, it was about trying to leverage $1.6 million. It was for a project that we knew was gonna have to happen in the future, not like,
But does it?
yeah, it does. It really
Because
does.
there has, within the town center designation, part of that designation is that you have to have walkability within and around the town center. So that, like, from the state's point of view, we have to address it one day because of us getting that designation as town center. And Carl and Vince, you can correct me if I'm wrong with saying that with the inflow, you were big part of that, designation of the town center, is it states that there has to be walkability within and around for us to have that designation.
So according to Tour, we should be holding the state to our current zoning regulations.
But we can't. I mean, it's not that simple. I did say, this,
So how
I
simple is it gonna
challenged
be to
them.
put a sidewalk behind the state property now? In a flood, in a wet.
I remember at one point, like, just the bridge over the wetland was just prohibitively pricey.
I can only imagine.
So.
And that was just a small bridge from behind Borough Elementary School
Well,
in the backside of the town.
that was
property.
too, but then there was also talk, because I said that, why can't we go like do a little bridge over because there's one in South Burlington.
Right.
But anyway, it was crazy expensive, but
Yeah,
I was just kind of what Chris was just saying. The state is saying we need walkability, but they're not willing to put a sign.
Exactly what I said to
They're
them.
going to state garage.
correct.
exactly what I said to
Cover a
them.
huge area.
Or the state police. I mean, it's more than just the state
Yeah.
garage, it's the
Yeah.
state police as well.
They're not-
I always say there's also potential for something that maybe doesn't seem like they're willing to do now. That's not to say that something will occur and there'll be a change in that regard. There's no way to not know.
No, we can't tell the future.
Right, exactly.
Maybe they've dealt.
We'd have a lot better job.
I just think that maybe something will occur that we don't foresee and we'll be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe I'll terribly regret my non-support for this down the road, but today, that's where I stand.
Okay. I think the only thing that we need to take into consideration is, like Carla said, we've had the ability to get money recently with strong, whether we like it or not, from the government to spend that money. And future projects, not saying that they will or they won't, but are they going to take us seriously in the future for future projects if we turn away this money? I think that's something to consider.
I think they should be happy if we don't want to waste their money.
It's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, maybe somewhere more.
If we don't use it, it's going to go to someone else.
Yeah, but they don't look at it that way.
No.
I don't know what happens to it, but
I'll find out. When I talk to
All right. Well, I guess we have a decision.
Yeah.
Good. Dale, I want to thank you and your team for everything that you have done. Appreciate all the time you've spent on this and what you've done for us. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you all.
Dale, at some point, probably tomorrow, you and I should sit down and have another follow-up conversation.
Absolutely. Yep, I'm
Okay.
available.
Very good.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. You all do great work.
Great. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank
too.
you too.
So I'll follow up with him, find out what's left and what's left to come in as well. That's already done. It's outstanding for work that's been done as well.
It's like an
Understood.
estimate of cost to finish, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm.
What's already on the books and and what it would be
Right.
if we asked them just to finish the design. That's not going anywhere, right? We want both
Yeah,
numbers.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something absurd, like,
Well, yeah,
then maybe we should cut it here
right, exactly.
and not complete it. But if it's,
It's hard to without knowing the number, right?
yeah, I mean, that's exactly.
Okay, fire warden update and discussion. Chief.
Fire chief.
Chief Staub.
Time's up, Joe.
Energy.
Time's up.
So anyway, I believe that Vince has probably briefed you on nothing, okay?
Oh, yeah,
Yes, he did. We talked about it at the last meeting. Yes, sir.
So the state made the decision to take the fire warden position, all its duties, and give it to the department chiefs. I do not know, I don't believe anybody I spoke to really knows why the state did this. I'm sure there was one or two situations that made it to be. And so we'll just treat everybody the same. So what does that mean for me? Well, this means that now I've always been the assistant warden. So now I have the ability to have those assistant wardens to help. I don't necessarily know if we have the staff to put in the time. So people call it, we talk about burn permits, and that's pretty, it's probably about 90% of it. And so you're taking phone calls, you're doing site visits at times, unless you have those repeat customers and such where you get a relationship with, those are pretty easy. But then you get into any kind of fire that's more than 3 acres, and that's going to be reportable. And that we have an amount of time, I do believe 12 hours to get hold of ANR and report that to them. So there's a lot of filing now that is going to then be relied on me to make sure that it's done, not necessarily myself doing it. Okay. That's about it for an update.
Is there something town staff could help with?
Well, right now, I guess the more time consuming part is the phone calls and such, but we do have a tool on the website, on the fire department's website, where they can apply. And so what that gives us is gives us notification of who it is, what the location is, and what they're looking to do. So we can then make that call to them, that contact, on our own time. So it's not necessarily having to answer that phone call.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be an educational piece for the community where it's gonna be needing 24 hours. A lot of times these people are they believe that they can call up, this
Yeah.
afternoon and strike a match within the hour. It's just not gonna happen. It can't happen.
Is there anything on the website that talks about how far in advance they need to request it?
No, but I can tell you that most departments will say 24 hours.
I think we
And I
probably
think
should
for the
put
town of
something.
Berlin, that's what we're gonna go with.
I think that makes sense. I know I've been guilty in the past of calling the morning of.
I think everybody
Yeah.
does. I have, I mean.
But I do try to do the day before, if I think of it.
And so I do believe that I will find somebody to maybe fill that role or fill a portion of it. But at this point, I haven't had anyone step forward. I'm not willing to make someone do it as a volunteer. It's a little tough,
Yeah.
right? But I think it's an educational piece for the town of Berlin. And you'll continue to be able to have burn permits.
Does it have to be someone in the fire department?
No. It can be Carla Nuizel.
Perfect. I just heard that.
I'll second that.
Before it was, weren't there 3 of you?
There's 3 of us. And one used to be on the fire department. He stepped aside. One of them was a life member of the fire department, has pretty much retired.
Okay,
I don't,
because I was just wondering if that person could.
Yeah. oh, that doesn't work. The real problem is with who was, as far as the town of Berlin, the communication with the fire department, that individual in the fire department
Wasn't good.
wasn't there. The communication between that person issuing a burn permit and having to get dispatch, informing dispatch, which is like key, wasn't there. So what happens there is you get a call of, smoke in the area, and all of a sudden people are going, right? Adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
We're going to the scene. That's a liability to find out that it's nothing but a permitted fire,
Yeah.
which wasn't called in. Now, there was quite a few of them, and I voiced my concerns with Vince on these. So this is actually, it's a good thing. We're just gonna struggle to work through.
Yeah. Have a process.
So. Does
Well,
anyone want to burn permit?
Yeah,
You got 24
I
hours.
would suggest
I
putting
do.
it on the website and maybe putting it on Front Porch Forum.
I would like one for tomorrow or Wednesday.
No, not about the 24 hours.
Oh, communicating that?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I was gonna say, no, I'm not gonna put it out there looking for it.
No.
Oh, sweet.
No. Just so that it gives you time to, and that you encourage people to apply online. Is there anything else you need from us?
Not at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate all you do.
Okay, so we're switching to the consultant update.
Before he falls out of his chair again, please.
Good thing we moved you up.
God, I thought our meetings were interesting. You followed me.
Use that green too.
So everybody's met Ron, I believe, right? Okay, everybody's familiar with Ron.
Topic would you like to get into first?
Well, let's go through the, I'll give an introduction to it and then you can take over.
Okay.
So Ron's been working with us. I've been working with him. We've developed all new templates for job descriptions for everybody on staff.
Great.
He's done, he came in, and did one-on-one with me in the room as well. So maybe two-on-one interviews with every staff member to review those job descriptions. And the two main questions were, is everything on there that you do? And is there anything on there that you don't do? Right? And then we revised them. I'm surprised, but happy to say that the drafts were pretty accurate. There weren't a lot of comments and discrepancies in those. So those have all been done. Why were those done? Because we needed them, number one. And number two, the RFP that's about to go out for the survey that we've been waiting to get out and do. So that was to cut the cost, right? If everybody remembers, right, we couldn't get a bid because we were asking too much for the money we were offering in the contract. So Ron came on board and is reducing our costs so that we can go out with that. And he's going to talk a little bit more above and beyond that as well.
Right. So, I think I've heard from this new board, let's call it, interest in getting out, being open, talking to people, really getting, not assuming, really drilling into stuff. So when you have staff that's depending on you to know what they're doing, they need to know what they're supposed to be. And there was sort of a mismatch with drafts of job descriptions, missing job descriptions, people that had to look at it. And certainly not sit down with.
Old and not consistent, really.
Yeah,
A
right.
lot of
Some
that.
marked up ones, need to change someday, those kind of notes. So
Someday.
That day came.
So we did a sort of a first, so let's think of those as your first batch. Then there was a second batch, which was me trying to get the formats to look the same. So everybody's, structured the same, except for one piece, which we added, which was tier job description. So when you have leadership positions and you want going to advertise, you say Berlin's hiring, we need you. When you're hiring the lower tier, which is more of the labor intensive, we need you to operate a truck. And you kind of got a different flavor. So we do have 3 tiers.
That's a sample of the tier 1.
Yeah, one is the leadership thing where you're really trying to appeal to the person's skill base and trying to draw them away from some other place. You might do that for a chief of police someday, and you might do it for a town manager. And you have to kind of advertise yourself or market yourself.
Not for a long time. For some.
No, but those leadership positions are more marketing. I call them marketing tone. So the job description looks different. The middle ground was the assistant kind of role. You know, you're going to be moving up, but we need you to worry about systems and operational capacity and less on the, here's what Berlin offers you for excitement piece, which was really the marketing. And then you have the sort of the more, the simpler, straightforward, we need a bookkeeper to process these 5 things every day. You know, though it doesn't take a lot of advertising, you know, you're not gonna sell Berlin on that. So you'll see those tier 3 ones being pretty brief. So that's what you have now. What we did last week was present that structure format to your staff, received some comments, went back through those, and now you have your sort of a third working batch that Vince has to finish up and try to remember what he heard and just really polish it up.
Thanks.
So he has all those.
No.
Yeah.
I did.
He has,
Sort of.
he has all those, including finance director, you know, a template for a town manager, and updated some administrator, depending on when you pull that path out. So you have the basic raw staffing tools.
Good.
What you don't have is the part that we're sort of leaving brackets around. And you'll see that on the job description drafts, where you don't have yet a market study benefits compensation piece. You have some ideas because you hired people and you sort of know where your people are, but you haven't had the benefit of that RFP that Vince was talking about, which will go out soon, to try to get that sort of the outside person that does this for many municipalities.
Yeah.
Usually it's a regional or even a national firm that has a New England office. And they do this as a matter of course for municipalities. So they're not really recreating a wheel for you. They're going to do their formula for you. And that's part of the RFP process, is what they're proposing to do for you, what you want to get back. Or did they totally go the RFP or whatever? So you'll have that decision to make in your selection process at some point. Once that comes back, then we get into the 4th revision, basically, of your job descriptions, and they might have comments on the job description, and they'll hey, this is, we saw this, we heard this, and then that 4th round of revision should set you up for a while. I think Vince and I tried to project, 5-year window, which was part of the original RFP, for where you might be headed, and we try to bring that back to today. So you don't really, I don't think you'll have much for job description tasks to do for the foreseeable future.
Right. And I will send out where we're at, the most current ones, to the board this week. We have that initial package, so you can see exactly what he's talking about and see the differences.
So the base work, there's 8 attachments that will go out of the RFP to help those consultants really get a feel for the town and kind of clear the deck from a lot of the concerns with the first round, which was you're asking a lot for what you think you're going to spend. So we triaged it. We did the 5-year look forward, and we did the base document cleanup. So now those all go towards the sort of the grunt work of just number crunching. Comps, 5 or 6 comparable towns. So they'll look into those towns. They'll either agree with it or not, or propose a new comp town, and they'll come out with your ranges. Now, I think I told this to the original prior board before your changeover, was you will get recommendations on a job that's related to a person that will either confirm you are right spot on with their market analysis, or you may be low or high. So it's not unusual to be low. You're not paying attention to it all the time. Years go by and you're just doing it 2 or 3%. The market's going at 5%, and you just lose track of it. Those people are feeling it, and they're doing their own comps, with other towns or people that they know.
Right.
So you're building up some animosity a little bit by not doing that kind of a 5 or 6 year true up, if you will, unless you're doing it all the time and you have HR people that can do it for you. It's not a bad practice for mid-sized, a little bit larger towns to get into at least talking about whether we're on market or not. And if you can't answer that yourself, you're back to where you are today, which is we need some help, studying that stuff. So when you do get those back They're gonna ask you questions about what do you want to do with COLA increases? What do you want to do with merit increases? What do you want to do with, moving somebody up in steps and how all that works? And a lot of people end up with a pay scale, and you probably see it where you have, all your positions are ranked, 1 through 10 in difficulty. 10 is the manager, 1 is the entry level person, and then you have 20 years. School districts do this too.
Yeah.
They have 20 years or 30 years sometimes of steps. So no matter what you do, as long as you're getting a clear review, you move. To get up or down, demotion or going up in skill level is a policy issue that you probably don't have, but you're going to be forced to think about it a little bit more because it's a fair arrangement with your staff, for lack of a better. It doesn't have to be too super technical,
Right.
But if you're not doing some basic maintenance of staff, which is 75-80% of your budgets, it's like not oiling the vehicles. You're really got to pay attention. It doesn't mean like every year, but to not have it skip over and just forget about it, think 5,000 mile checkup or whatever you want to, however you want to mentally, register that. It's really incumbent on the board to set those bigger directions so that Vince knows, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. It has been 3 years. We probably should have, shake off that and refresh on it. So whether who's here, then it's really sometimes the personnel policy has a maintenance paragraph for future boards. Just something that memorializes what you all thought was necessary now, lives on for the next iteration of the board. So that's the 10,000 mile view. A lot of editing, a lot of tweaking. Vince is gonna, like Vince has it now, and then the RFP would go out with a goal of getting information for your budget season for FY28.
So is this RFP not going to address potential gaps, in future needs?
No, the agreement what we've been working on is dealing with the two
Just the
ends.
staff we have now, or the positions we have?
No, we brought, I think, then we said we would bring in maybe town manager or finance director into the study for FY28, because that's when it might hit.
Right. I guess,
Those are the two that might come in. There's 3 or 4 positions you've talked about before that were not added per se, that you still need more discussion on.
I guess I was hoping that this analysis was gonna try to look at the town.
That's part of what we had to cut to get within the funding.
And identify either gaps, take the audits, where are there gaps in duties? And I'm sure you did that part, but that's just an example. And then based on, project sort of what the needs would be in the next 10 years or 20 years.
No, we had a 5-year window. And when Vince and I were talking, we went through your current staff. I mentioned the facility constraints. You really can't add more than 1 or 2 people anyway. Was the issue of, practically speaking, what are the things that need to be filled and sort of plugged if there's gaps? And it was really a finance, it was a manager question that's been floating around. Public works shared person, and we did hear back that maybe more of that is needed during our interviews. But for the manageable window that we wanted to move forward on, it was that. We didn't go into the 5, 10, 15-year window. There was so much housekeeping, basically.
Right, no, I get it.
So when this report comes out, like I said, you will get some recommendations for additional work to really fill out this whole animal, if you will. And then you can, I think that at that point, you maybe want to revisit and say, is what this report presents sufficient for our foreseeable future? If the answer is no, then you can drill into those longer term things. I think the answer is going to be yes. I think you're going to have enough resources for the 5-year window based on the work that Vince and I did.
So that being said, just the finance director posting is gonna go out probably by the end of the week.
That's awesome.
And the RFP,
Same.
you think the end of the week? So they'll both go out then.
Have we voted on that yet?
Yeah.
Finance director?
Yes.
Was I missing?
No,
When did we vote on hiring a
that was
finance
a
director?
while ago. We've been working on that for a while.
Well, we didn't approve the funding. We didn't vote to fund it. We didn't vote to hire, we voted that we wanted to get, okay, never mind. We can talk about it. I didn't think we voted on the actual position.
Yes, we voted on moving forward with a posting for the position. Yes,
I might have been, I was out.
I think you seconded it. I think he made the motion.
Probably.
I seconded it.
Aye.
What about, fire department? Any thoughts on like,
The only job description that we did for the fire department at this time was the chief.
okay, just want to make sure that was,
Yeah, that, I don't want to speak.
We left the fire department and staffing and the police staffing. We did the police chiefs,
okay,
but we left the staffing for those out of this again. Keeping the cost down for the RFP this time.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I just want to say something not critical. Fire department transition is relatively done and the paperwork's done, the deeds are done. The chief is looking at, equipment. You guys have the 2 properties now. So you're sort of done with the big pieces, I think. But there's still policies and rules and how do we, just getting used to the new name.
Full integration.
So I think when we were talking to Chief Staub about it, it was let that settle down, give us some time.
Yeah.
You guys do your big project here, and then we'll focus on you guys next. What do you want to do with your officers and positions and rules of procedure?
Yeah.
Does the select board have to approve bylaws for the fire department, all those kind of mechanical things?
Gotcha, makes sense.
And those really help. I mean, I know people like policies and procedure stuff, but when you have a fire department that wants its own structure,
Yeah.
When do they have trainings? When do they meet? Who's in line for this? How do you get to be that? All those
Yeah.
fire department issues. You don't have to really be involved with that as a board directly, but my recommendation is that the chief work that through with his officers, get preliminary approval, present it to you
Yeah.
all, get your approval, and then the officers vote on it as their new. You would have the legal issues to look at. You would have that makes sense to us for awareness.
Yeah.
So that's a sidetrack that's been deferred, not lost. It's on hold.
Perfect.
Well, I appreciate all your work, Ron. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
You always help.
We'll give you a better chair next time.
Good.
Looks good. I'm good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay. Personnel policy.
This one's way shorter than the last one.
Yeah, I made, so again, long story short, I made all the changes that everybody, at least I think I did,
Still.
hopefully with my fat fingers,
Pretty
I
good.
mean, I guess.
that were highlighted. Sorry?
You're right.
Good night.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ron.
I'm just gonna say my only, and of course I have to have one.
You're not alone, Carolyn.
Oh, maybe, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read this that closely, but, the one thing you decided to just pay vacation over 80 hours as opposed to the language I proposed.
I used your language. in this.
No, that's not my language.
What section are you on?
Page 11, it says any unused vacation over 80 hours will be paid out. My language was that it would either, that at the discretion of the town, it would be paid or carried over. But they had to request it by May 1st, similar to what we did with the police.
Did I miss those notes or did?
No, I sent them to you. But anyway, that's because I feel like we don't want to just pay it because that, I think there should be a process where you decide, okay, was there legitimately reasons that this person had more carryover? Right here.
Okay. I will revisit that one.
I'll make sure, I got my email right here. Maybe it is my fault. I am losing my mind.
The old policy.
For obvious reasons.
While she's looking, Chris, did you have some?
So it wasn't much. It wasn't.
Sure.
So I have it highlighted if you did change it. Change.
Yeah,
It's
I
so,
sent it to-
it's so minimal. It's not even worth talking about,
Okay.
really.
Yeah,
The numbers
yeah.
for the,
Section numbers.
yeah.
And spacing, some of what I
Yeah.
saw was the spacing,
There-
like
so that's-
403,
And employee was
making it consistent.
That's in line.
Yeah, just going down through to every section and making sure there's the same amount of space between like the blue header that says sick leave and then a space between where it begins. There's a couple of those in there.
Does that make sense, Vince?
Yeah.
Just like the-
Nothing major.
Yeah, I should have checked that. 'Cause I used the automatic
I mean, I'll-
numbering when I
Yeah.
I think
did.
you're gonna type this up.
I did, I
Yeah.
put my email to
Yeah.
Vince. Okay.
Should check that. Okay.
But that was it for me out of that packet.
I'll hold on to that. I'll make
Yeah.
those.
Then you could reuse your plastic taps there.
I'll make sure to.
That one there.
Find it?
I did.
Yep.
And?
I put it in there. It's kind of small, but section 402,
That's
Where it says-
that's where I mixed it.
an employee,
Move second.
yeah,
You send that to me.
well. July, I don't know,
I
back
mean, I remember the discussion about it.
Yeah.
right after the meeting,
So I'm gonna look at.
July
the
16th.
16th email from
Okay.
Carla. Okay.
Sorry, I should have. I guess I should have reached out to you earlier, but
I took out the missing portion. I don't know how I missed it. Okay, I will make those corrections and I won't delay any longer. I'll make the corrections.
do you want me to read this just to make sure everybody agrees with what I wrote?
I think we already did, right?
Well, no, I said,
Go
an
ahead.
employee who has accumulated hours in excess of the amount allowed to be carried over may request that the excess vacation time be paid out or carried over. The employee must submit the request to the town administrator by May 1st. The request should explain the reasons for the request, including circumstances that may have impacted the employee's ability to use vacation time. Excess time approved for carryover will only be carried over for 1 year.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Just so you can't request to carry over the same time the next year. I mean, you could shorten it if you want, but that's,
I'm not changing a word of it.
Locked in.
I mean, I tried, yeah, and we can develop a policy that you go by, but I think that this says, if there's, obviously, if someone has no reason that they didn't take vacation, you might not carry it over, but if they have,
Sorry, I missed all that.
that's all right.
So I'll make the corrections and I'll put it on the next agenda. Thank you, sir. Again.
Capital improvement plan, can you do an update?
Yeah, so I sent you a document that looks like this, except it's not this, because this one is revised. I found a couple of errors ahead of time. I've made some corrections,
Oh,
so I'll give you a new one. Throw the other one away. This is the most accurate one.
it's a lot bigger than the other one.
Well, you can read this one.
We'll put my glasses on.
But again, the intent of all this, right, is to smooth out year after year, right? The impact on the tax base by balancing out capital purchases like this. So I've kind of tried to put everything consistently along the line. There was a couple of things that I had missed on there. So the red numbers are the numbers that are on the sheet that I sent you. The corrected numbers are the bold ones in black above those. Any questions to start with on this? So as an example, fiscal year 2028 for the capital investments right now, it's 1.47 million. That includes, again, everything that you see on here. The things that are highlighted in that kind of brownish, light brownish color are either a one-time, so they don't continue on, or they are a,
Vacation toward. Okay. Sorry.
or they are the year that we're purchasing that And you will see the line continue on because we are every year putting an amount in a fund for that. If it's a 7-year purchase, you see it run for 7 years, then there'll be another purchase, right? So it smooths it out so we don't get hit, for example, every year for or every 7 years for a $400,000 truck.
Yeah.
Right? When that 7th year hits, we put whatever it is, 52,000 and some odd every year in that fund. So the year that we purchase one, there'll be 52,000 whatever times 2, because that'll be the final year for the purchase and for the contribution for the next 7-year replacement. So that's why you'll see the 114 in there for a truck as an example. And again, you'll see, right, in the first 3 years, we're still playing catch up, right? We push some trucks out. We haven't done this every year. So trucks are a good example again. If you look at plow truck for 2031, we're going to buy it in 2031. We haven't put anything away yet. So it's $80,000, right? So that starts to smooth out as you go through. And you'll see, again, the numbers in black are gonna decrease until, again, we're buying every 7 years. Trucks are the big ones, but there's a 2-year gap, right? Because we're starting in 2028, right? So we have 5 trucks, 7 years. There's going to be a 2-year gap where it'll be lower. You'll see that in this plan. It's something that it shows you. Then it comes back up and it stabilizes in 2035 at $1.7 million going forward. But again, it's going to change every year, right? You may vote out a truck, you may vote in something else. This also includes the 2 fire trucks, right? We've got 2 right now that, short term, right? Rescue 1 and Tower 1 are both, one's 2029 and 2032 for replacement. You go out to 2032 for that tower truck, that's a 10-year replacement. So that number will continue going forward, that amount for the next 10 years. Again, it smooths it out. It's not $500,000 for a fire truck at one whack. And we're replacing equipment. The only thing that I didn't do that for, because it was really, they're under 100 for now, right? Are the police cruisers, the full amount every year for a replacement of a cruiser.
They're under 100?
They're under 100.
Wow.
Huh?
What a surprise.
Cruisers, yeah.
With all the equipment.
Yeah. Right now, for 2028, we only budgeted 65. For next year, I budgeted 67. For the following year, 70. And then I kept it stable at 70. That's 3 years out. Again, I'm sure we're going to have to adjust probably on a lot of these as we go forward. But it gets us in the ballpark. And again, it's not going to be a $300,000 adjustment any one year. It might be, 5 to 10,000 based on what happens in the market. It's a heck of a lot smoother going on.
What's the vehicle of choice?
Well, that's up for discussion right now because the chief has looked at 3 different vehicles, and I think he's kind of leaning towards a Dodge right now because it's more suited to the needs from a fit.
Historically gone before Explorers for the Ford Interceptors for the cruisers, and we've been experiencing a lot of maintenance issues just over and over and over again. So I did a price comparison between F-150, which they won't sell here in Vermont. It's quite a bit pricier anyway. The Dodge Durango and the Ford Interceptor. And the Durango came down significantly less expensive than the Ford Interceptors. I don't know if that's going to be the trend in the future, but when I asked for bids or asked for quotes, that's what they gave me.
Awesome. Is that with a Hemi?
I don't know. I'm discouraging for bids anyway. So.
Oh man, I don't know.
He's thinking about the first one that comes up for
4-cylinder, right?
A little power is nice. I mean, it can save on gas.
So again,
looking at any of this being on for a town to vote on any of these items?
Yes, that was going to be my next topic, right? At one of the last discussions we had with some residents, there were some thoughts they'd like to see articles, right? And vote individually on these. And that was going to be my question to the board. which one, any of these could go in as an article in my mind. I have, didn't bring the examples, but I've done 5 articles to see what they'd look like that we can talk about at some point in time. But again, think about that and what you would consider. And I would like to, you know, do what the residents said and, you know, pick out at least 5 this year. Which we'll have to decide soon, because we have to warn them and get them on the ballot and all that. You know, I'm thinking things like, you know, the second excavator, the grader, a truck, a fire truck, of the 2. And maybe the paving, I don't know.
Say paving cost help, yeah.
And you'll see also, you'll see paving names the first 3 years because that's what was in the 5-year plan. I didn't put any paving names after that into the program. So what I'd like to do when I update the CIP document and sit with Tim and we do the 5-year plans, I want to just put a budget amount in here just in case, right? We'll still have the 5-year plan, but that 5-year plan could change any year or every year if we have any events, right? We have a road washout or whatever. He's gonna, even if it may be a paved road, he's gonna want to take care of that. And I think, but if we nail it down to specific locations, we'll have to go back and re-vote on it. If we put a figure in there and we change something happens and we want to change that, we have the flexibility to do that, right? So if it's 350,000, and he can disperse that over 3 out of the 4 roads, and maybe if there's an emergency repair needed, right, rather than scramble for budgets or anything like that, it's kind of built into the plan that way. If you follow where I'm trying to go with that. So you'll see that stop after that.
So these highlighted on the left are all for this year?
Yeah, 2028.
The town office design, the vault, that's all 2028?
That's all 2028, yes, but it's a 1-year deal, right? That's the next question that I have is for the use of the local options tax, right? We said that was for capital investments. That includes like capital planning for buildings and things as well. So we need to take some of this capital and put it in the operating budget as well. Right, and my recommendation is, you know, this past year, we had 1.2 million come in on local options tax. We budgeted 900,000. We had 1.2 come in. I think we use that 1.2 as a baseline. It's risky, but we're making the assumption it's going to stay the same or even get better. And then we take 1 million of it for this capital plan, what's on the page today, and we reserve 200,000 for that top line of planning, because you'll see that's all blank across there, because we need to get that process in place so that the planning team has some money allotted when they do want to do a study and the board approves it. We don't have to go looking for the money, right? Or if we go after a grant for, you know, a study and there's a 20% contribution for that capital investment, we have at least 200,000 set aside in a fund to cover that, right? Again, just to smooth it out, because planning is going to continue to plan. We're going to continue to do studies. Why should that have to hit the taxpayer's pocket every year if we budget it? What should hit their pocket is if for some reason we have a huge plan or a huge cost come in for planning, right? And then every year it gets voted on anyway. So if we know that we're going to need more 5 years from now to build a police building or a new town office or whatever, right? We can control those funds every year and move them as necessary, again, to smooth the tax increases.
So these numbers here, based on what you just said, will not include the town office design numbers. Those would go up based.
No, that town office design is a one-time 20,000, which I think is too low for a design, right? That's what was budgeted and planned in 2028 when they did the capital plan. That's why it's in there. That's a one-time cost, right? For that design, whatever it ends up being. Like the vault, it's 10 grand one time to create more vault space.
So if if they become things become line items and the taxpayers vote on them and they hypothetically speaking, let's say they vote down a fire truck or a town truck, and they have a catastrophic failure. At that point, I mean, is it up to us to?
Well, there's a couple of things there, right? If we do an article and establish a reserve fund specifically for a fire truck, and they vote on that article every year. If they vote it down one year, that money that's already there stays there for that, because that's the sole purpose of that, unless we take it back for another vote to move it somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
But essentially, you could say, okay, it's 1 year out now, so we're gonna add another year. Next year, we're gonna vote on it again. If it passes, okay. If it doesn't, then it's 2 years out, right? It moves like that. Unless we go back to them and say, we've had a catastrophic failure, we don't have a ladder truck anymore, a tower truck, right? We can go back to vote.
Okay, gotcha.
But it gives them a say as well, right?
Yeah.
And they also know, we're 2 years away from purchasing that now with what we have in the reserve fund for each one of these. And again, I will send you what that looks like, what the article will look like. I'm working with Rachel, but I have it pretty much done for 5 now, but my request to the board is just to have a look at it. Give me feedback if there's specific things you would rather see articles on, or if the residents are talking to you about it, what do they want to see specifically off this? We can make those articles.
Do you have an example of another town that does that?
This,
Does articles for like a fire truck?
yep, there, I was
Breaks
gonna
out the
ask you
budget, I
that.
should say,
I will send you, there are several out there that do that. I think
even if it's not gonna be bonded.
East Montpelier did it recently, didn't
I
they?
think East Montpelier does that. The other thing that some of them do is they will vote separately on, for example, Tim still listening, the highway budget.
Yeah.
Right? This is gonna be the highway budget separate, right? As well. They break that out and make it an article. And then if that gets voted down, and you're just looking at the highway stuff, okay, what do we have to trim this year to do that? Right. So this is similar to that, but it's a little bit more, this will be separate. It'll be a line item on the total budget, but this will be capital improvement section. And it won't be in the operating budget like plow trucks won't be in the highway portion, they'll be in the capital portion. Same with the chief's cruisers, they'll be in the capital portion, not in the police budget.
Yeah.
So overall, you'll see some reduction based on past history, how it was done in the operating budget versus the capital budget.
Thank you for doing this, Vince. This is awesome.
Any questions?
So the only other thing I remember about what I read about the capital budget is we are supposed to indicate where the money's coming from, which obviously is local options tax and taxpayers when it goes over. But I just don't know I don't remember what that's supposed to look like, but that's my only comment.
Yeah, so what you'll see is when this is finalized, right? I will come back to the board and say, okay, out of the 147, right, million, how much do you want to, and what do you want to allocate the local options tax to? And we'll identify that, right? Because that'll be identified in the article, right? And my recommendation will be that whatever we identify here for that, it will be in the article. There will be an article and it will say it's specifically coming from the local options tax funds. Then anything over that will be in the operating budget, which will impact the tax calculation, right? So you'll see it distinctly, operating budget, capital improvement. Impacts your taxes, doesn't impact your taxes.
With the 1.2 that we got last year, where was that? Was that put towards the new garage?
No,
that's just in
It
a
was in the budget.
fund right now for,
900,000 was budgeted. So the balance of that would just go into the general fund.
Gotcha.
Right. For costs, other costs. Right. Make them up. But again, it's earmarked that it can only be for capital, right? Because that's what the voters voted on when they voted for that, was for capital projects only.
Right, we'd have to do the charter change if we.
If you want to use the lot for anything else, it might be another charter change, yes. Yeah,
Did the article actually say that?
Mhm.
It did?
Yeah, it's for capital improvement.
I don't remember. I know that was the intent. I'm not suggesting we don't use it for those purposes, because we have plenty of capital projects that need to be funded every year that they use money up. I just don't remember if we actually put that in there.
we did.
Awesome. Thank you, Vince.
So again, have a look. If you think I missed anything or whatever, let me know.
Oh, sorry, I do have one more comment.
Too late.
So the other thing that this raises is the question of, Ron suggested that at some point we had to tackle the issue of how we wanted to manage money. Do we want to borrow money? When do we borrow money? So that's sort of, I think, the next step.
Yeah.
Like, if we're gonna build a town office, I don't think we're gonna be able to budget the
Well,
money.
if we're gonna do it in
Wow.
25 years,
But-
maybe we
But
can
is that the best way to
budget
do
it.
it? So
Yeah.
anyway, I think that's the next question for me is, what is our policy on borrowing?
Yep.
Versus allocating putting it in here.
Yeah.
Because I do think we should have one.
Policy. on that.
Yeah,
I think we have an old one, but. I'd have to
but
look.
with, that works with this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it'll be integrated
Yeah.
into capital improvement. What that looks like. No, I get it.
Because we might have borrowed for a fire truck. But if we do it this way, we don't have to, or theoretically.
Right.
So, I mean, then that's a good thing, but I'm just saying, where's the line? What do you,
See I'll talk to him and I'll also see what's out there. For examples of that. Any questions on that portion of it?
no, good job. Good.
Thank you, Vince. Appreciate it.
Okay, it's not done yet. Don't thank me yet, because there's still.
Done a lot of work on it, so I do appreciate it.
Also, just a good to know type of thing. Working with Ron, his company has developed an app for the capital improvement. That the board will have access to once we go live with it. We're one of the guinea pigs. We're one of the first ones to use it, but VLCT is also looking at it and working with them to make it work for everybody as well. And I think Morristown, Randolph, and some other towns are already looking at it as well, but we were one of the first ones to get on board with that, so we have some influence on it. The board will have read access, so everything that you're seeing here and everything that's in the capital improvement plan, you'll be able to look on your laptop, pull up the app, and you can go in and see the 6-year plan, the 20-year plan. That's all in there, the costs, where the funding's coming from. It's a great tool. It's gonna make budgeting a whole lot easier as well, once we get through that. So that's coming to a computer near you in the very near future as well.
I need to come up with that, damn it.
But it's gonna make it a lot easier. Including more than likely, not in the next revision, but the following revision or two. The documents, right, for if planning wants to propose a capital project to the board, right? We have draft documents now that we're gonna start using, but it's gonna probably end up being in the app as well, so that you can see it live for the most part. It also tracks, it has I don't want to call it geocaching, but for the town assets, there's GPS. Coordinates are in there as well, so it'll pull it up on a map where it's located. Awesome. So you have all of that.
The trackers on the employees too.
Not yet, but we could.
It's gonna be tracking us.
Anya, fishing again?
Yeah. That's all I have, unless you have questions, and I'll just, look for your feedback on this one. So I can take it to the next level, get closer.
Sure. We're all set.
We're all being tracked.
Seriously.
Face it.
Yeah, especially because of these. Chief of Police salary discussion and decision.
Okay, I don't think I need to talk on that one. You guys have had that already, I think.
So we already, we didn't vote in public session.
Right,
right?
no, we just have to formalize it here with a motion.
Do I say the amount or just?
Yes. Yeah, yes, you do.
And
Yes, it was.
I just want to make sure I give the right amount.
Yeah.
Oh.
280, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have a side discussion, chief.
So I'll move to increase the chief of police salary to $120,000 annually. Is that good?
Effective,
Effective immediately?
retroactive, we said,
Oh, retroactively to
this fiscal year.
July 1.
Yep.
2026.
Second. I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome. Thank you very much, chief. Appreciate all you do.
Appreciate it very much.
All right.
Congratulations, chief.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Fiscal year 28 staff wages discussion, review and decisions.
So everybody has this document? Again, hopefully lessons learned from last year, right, Carla? This was what we finally ended up with that seemed to work for everybody on the board last year. As far as understanding where people were, what most of the averages were according to the VLCT survey, and what each percentage of rate adjustment looked like for each individual, where they were at and where we were moving to. I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't think we have to, the chief is now on this list. He wasn't last year, but I think you can see the rate that's already in there. I don't think we need to talk about that one right now. Maybe though. Actually, we do. I take that back. We do, because that was for fiscal year 27. We've got to look at fiscal year 28.
Mhm.
So, well, I guess what I really meant to say was it's been updated to reflect today's motion already. You kind of made the assumption that it would pass, so. I'll give you a minute to look at it, although I'm sure you've all read it and fully understand it.
So what are we doing with this right now?
So picking which percentage rate we're gonna give them.
If the board's ready, again, to make a decision on what you want the fiscal year 28 salaries to look like. 2%, 3%, I didn't put 2%, sorry, but 3%, 4%.
I have a question.
I'm just picking one of these.
For Bethany.
Yep.
Why did it go from 45 down to 40?
Because 45 was the previous person in that seat.
Okay. Thank you.
He just came on board, so that's
why it's in fiscal year.
offer letter, and well, we negotiated.
Right, was to 40. Okay.
She negotiated with us.
So I think I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to do this in steps, this budget,
Yes, ma'am.
but
Why did I start with the salaries? Because that's always the biggest.
no, that's not my question. I guess my question is, or my comment is, it's hard to, I mean, we can always change it,
Yeah,
because once we're getting into the nitty gritty of the budget,
as we,
And it's
as we go through
totality.
each section, right? I will start to compile them all. You will see the number. Either increase or decrease, right? Compared to last year. I'm gonna use that final sheet and fill it out as we progress. And then we'll sit down and do a final complete review so that you can see what the numbers are and how they compared to the last 2 years. That's what you're looking for. at
well,
the end.
I'm just saying in context of the whole budget.
Right.
Yeah,
You'll see the whole thing as we progress, grow and then.
because honestly,
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm in favor of 5% because that's a number that we've been working with this year. But if the budget was, if we had to make cuts, we might have to back it off to 3%.
Nothing's final, right?
Yeah.
We're not gonna vote on anything on the budget until we have the whole thing done.
Oh, okay, so we're not
Right.
voting on this tonight.
We're not voting,
Oh,
but
okay.
we're making proposals that I will take back and
Okay.
say, the board is recommending, right?
Okay,
5% or 3%, whatever that is. I'll do the math, I'll put it in the table, and we'll go to the next one. Then I'll bring the highway budget in and say, this is what we're spending for sand, this is what we're spending for
yeah,
chloride and paving, and here's what it looks like. And then I'll put that in. When it's all done, that'll bring the whole thing in, then we'll either cut or vote or both.
Yeah, to promote,
Because bringing it all in at once
Good morale.
never works.
yes, good morale in light of the current negotiation. My recommendation is 5%, but I'm probably one. I don't know.
What was the increase from like last year, from 26 to 27?
3,
Three.
except for the highway department.
The highway.
Right, 'cause
We did some major
we did some
adjustments in the
adjustments.
highway department. I think there was 2 or 3 adjustments out of the 4.
So Carl, I can ask you this, why is this is 26, right?
That's,
39.54 for the clerk.
I'm assuming so.
And this is 3%, 37.13,
That's with a 3% increase.
but here's 39.54.
So this is what she's getting right now.
Should we go
Next year
down?
it would go to, oh,
Should we go down? All
oh,
these, you know what I mean? We're cutting them.
That one
cutting
you're gonna-
wages?
that one you're gonna have to bring to Vince's attention. I did not notice that.
Trying to understand the grid. So, Vince, I guess you look at clerk, right down this part here. It says, the fiscal year 26. I'm just using the clerk as an example.
Yep.
There's a number there. If you look at 27 for clerk, that number is lower. If you look at, if we're going for 28, you look 3%, 4%, 5%, that number would be lower for that position all the way past 7%. And the others seem to be the same. Like that yellow number at the bottom is higher for all positions than the ones up top. Unless I'm reading it wrong. Correct me if it's lost.
Yeah, no,
I might be reading it wrong, but like, I wouldn't doubt it. So you look at these.
Yeah.
Higher. This is fiscal year 26. That's what it says, right?
This is, these are the averages, the average rates,
oh,
like throughout
Yeah.
the state, right? 26.
Yeah, definitely the averages there,
These are averages for fiscal year 26
right?
For the state.
VLCT.
Averages.
From the
for
VLCT.
VLCT.
Oh,
Yes,
gotcha.
that clarified.
sorry.
Yes,
Yes.
it does.
I thought it was just
No,
for there. Okay.
yep.
Oh, yeah, it says on top, the LTT type. Okay, sorry.
So that's
Let you down.
VLCT.
Yeah.
Got it.
Held your breath on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I was thinking, wait a minute. No, that charts the average
From VLCT.
from VLCT.
Okay.
Correct.
I'm with Carla. I recommend the 5%.
Yeah, get the morale up, then knock them down.
Well, we're saving $200,000, right?
Yeah, I'm good with class.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, look on the bright side of things, Carla. Oh, shoot.
Did you second the 5%, Chris?
I don't think we're.
We're not
We're
voting.
not voting,
Yeah,
just
recommendation.
discussion.
I just want to get a feel from the board where we're at, what numbers they take back and put in, make the final total budget. And then we can
Knowing it's
decide,
subject. to
looking at the numbers, yeah. Is the opportunity to say, okay, that looks too high, we've got to find some places to cut, and we'll go back and look at it. But trying to do that all at once, upfront, bringing it all in, just doesn't
Yeah.
work. It's, if we stay focused on one thing at a time,
Yeah.
I can get that produced fairly quickly, right?
Yeah.
4 or 5 meetings, we'll have it all done, and then I can bring in the big one
Yeah.
to have that debate.
Right.
So.
Ooh, what is that?
So I hope it's not poison.
Oh,
It's cleaner than last.
You hooked?
And
No, I didn't get hooked.
Oh,
No, I said hope it's not poison.
little dots.
oh, good.
any other questions on this?
Nope.
You get in the pool.
No, just go back.
I mean,
and-
actually, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to, I'm not gonna say no.
Questions for me?
Do I go back with the 5 and plug that in and
I
good with the 5 there?
Yeah,
I
good
would say
with
that,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Minutes from June 15th, 18th. For approval.
I didn't see anything wrong.
Yeah, they were pretty simple.
Looked good to me.
I make a motion to accept the Monday, June 15th, 2026 minutes as presented with just a few changes periods in a couple of places and capitalizing executive session and moving that last section down to match up with the verbiage on the second page.
Let's catch, well, I didn't catch those.
That's okay.
Wow.
No worries.
I'll second that.
All in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Yep. Okay, that one.
Can I make a motion to approve the Monday, June 18th regularly scheduled select board meeting with the same changes, period in a couple places, capitalizing executive session in all places and moving the select board roundtable to match details with it.
I'm gonna second, but I have a question. We only did executive session at a regular meeting? Is it a regular meeting? Why would we have only had executive session at a regular meeting? June 19th.
That wasn't a regular.
No, those.
Yeah, definitely worthwhile to look at that to be sure.
That had, no, this was not a regular meeting.
Yeah, it was a
So
third.
that would need to be adjusted
Yes.
as well.
Monday should have been Tuesday,
It
right?
should have been
Thursday.
Thursday, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Monday was the 15th, so
Mhm.
yes, and that should have been special.
All those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Thank you.
So close, man, so close.
Approval of license permits, vouchers, and applications.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the payroll warrant 2702 for payroll from July 12th, 2026 to July 25th, 2026 to be paid on July 29th, 2026 in the amount of $78,330.48. Payable warrant 27V02 with check number 26351 to 26391. And e-check number 18 and 19 in the amount of $83,513.77. Payable warrant 27S02 with check number 4725 to 4736 in the amount of $284,577.40. General Fund Bank reconciliations for February 2025 to June 2025 and July 2025. Sewer Fund Bank reconciliations from March to June 2025 and July and August 2025.
That was a mouthful.
It's hard to say when I can't hear.
Oh.
It sounds like I'm like that.
Any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I always have questions. Vince, the Berlin Sewer Commission, those charges, just what? Just a description, I just don't.
Yeah, I'm able to tell you off the top of my head. I'll have to look it up, but
So there's,
Thanks, Chief. Good night.
thank you,
Thank you.
the town office sewer, fire department sewer, town garage, fire department.
yeah, that's we're paying for our sewage.
Got them up there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was what I thought, but
Yeah.
I wasn't quite clear. And then, Delage, Layden, Landon Financial Services,
Copiers,
oh,
copier contract.
copy.
A new name?
Well,
I'm gonna say, I
it's
remember
the
that name.
old name.
Hmm.
They've been around, it changed. The name, there's like 3 names associated with the copiers anyway.
I know, I feel like the checks are always going to have different names though.
Yeah, yeah.
Du Bois and King permitting for $1,696.30.
And Russ?
Mr. King, I
didn't think so.
remember what permit that was for. I'd have to check on that one. It may be
What was
the
that?
one out here that never got finished. I'd want to check.
726081. Or 726-081, easier to.
Can't remember them all. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
But I'll find out and let you know. What's that one for?
Yeah.
He said Otter Creek Engineering is going to, that was my stop.
It's worth 7,000.
Yeah, this last one
1,696.
is probably it. When I talked to him earlier, he thought he would have them all done and in by the end of this month. Still a couple of days left. There might be a couple more that come in. But that was the discussion that I had, was to try to have those all in and shelve it by the end of the month. With Otter Creek, talking about.
Copy.
What'd you say the check was for that permitting amount?
1,696.30.
696.30.
Got it. Okay.
Here, look at the front page, then I'll tell you where it is.
I had a hard time. I tried that with you there real quick and I couldn't seem to.
I know I saw everyone that was on that list.
26360.
Probably shuffled them. I don't know.
I did not.
You did.
I moved the public.
There we go.
It is.
26360.
Sounds like it's a good one.
Berlin ice rink.
What? Okay, so it is what I said. It's the one that's out front that was never finished from a permitting standpoint. Never filed to complete the permit.
Gotcha.
That whole system that's out there, that's what that was tied with then. That's the one.
Are you talking about that way? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The ice rink.
At the end of the ice rink, there's that retention pond for the stormwater runoff. The permit was never finished, and we found that out when we started.
Oh, the
looking
one
at
we'd already done.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Yes.
I remember that.
So that was all done as part of storm runoff.
It's not for the ice rink.
And
That's for ice rink.
Well, but it's the near.
When we started doing the town garage and we had to do that, and we did the paving and the runoff, they said, hey, we've got a system we can tie to here. They started looking for the permit for this one to make sure everything was compliant. They called us back and said, there is no permit for that yet. Did you want us to get it? And I said, absolutely, we want to finish that.
Yeah.
And get the permit, tie it in with the garage.
Permits.
So that will completely
Be done.
clean that up
Permitting app.
as well, so.
I want to do the permanent business.
Let's see.
How to avoid a permit, maybe?
Right.
I see we have a finance charge that Gillespie Fuels.
Yeah, I saw that one. I don't know the answer to that one yet either.
26363. And then the usual.
For a late payment or something like that, it shouldn't be, but I need to find that one out. I don't know the answer.
And then on the Riverton wastewater, the Otter Creek charges.
Yep. So again, I gave them till, asked them to finish by the end of this month, so there may be a couple that still trickle in,
Copy.
but the majority of it should be done and in this warrant. That, and then that project is on the shelf, them as well. Whatever they were working on, it's closing out, and you'll have the full invoices by the end of the month. I'm guessing, I haven't talked to them today, but that may be it, but there might be one or two lingering. But I don't know.
And then at the end of that list, there was an annual permit of $1,000.
Yep, they do our yearly, what's it called? I don't want to say it's a wastewater permit, but there's a yearly annual permit that we have to do for the town. I can't remember what it's called right now, I'm losing my mind. But that's a yearly annual one that they do
Is it
for
for
us.
water or sewer or no, it can't be?
No, it has something to do with the stormwater. A permit that we have with the state,
Okay.
but I can get you the official name of it.
Only two more, or three more.
Great.
Um,
Answered 1 out of 10, I think. I'm doing
no, you're doing good. You're doing good. Schoolhouse graphics.
Schoolhouse graphics, yes, that is for the decals. Tim, I believe that's yours, right?
He's sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah,
His chair collapsed.
they lettered, no, they lettered,
Thinking, oh,
That's the graphics for the equipment, the truck.
Wake
they
up.
lettered one dump truck and the loader.
Copy. Okay. Where are they out of?
Roxbury, well, Northfield now. They were in Roxbury, but they've moved their business to Northfield.
The schoolhouse?
We don't have any graphics places in Berlin. Just curious.
I don't think we do. I think Barry's the
Yeah.
closest.
Yeah.
Yipes, there's
They're
one up
bigger.
in Barry Town. I
Yeah.
can't think of the name of that one right
Yeah.
now.
Granite City.
are all of our vehicles
Granite City.
lettered now?
Yeah.
Are all of our vehicles lettered now?
Tim, did you know the answer to that one? I'm not sure. I thought we only had two left, but
All the dump trucks are lettered and the loader, yeah.
okay.
$10 barbecue annual dinner for 1,089. I'm mostly upset I didn't get invited.
Yes, that was the thinking of dinner for the fire department.
Oh, copy. Okay. And I'm assuming William Scotsman is Craig's trailer?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
And the listers, they share.
And the listeners, yeah.
The annual is for Payne and Fisher Stormwater.
Stormwater.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That's the yearly stormwater.
Yeah. On that trailer rental, so that's 1,547.82.
About 19 grand a year.
Really? If I get a deal for the town, we should talk about that.
Trailer, how come that comes partially out of Craig's fund and partially out of general, if it's a split trailer? It all comes out of the general fund?
That's a good question.
Very good question.
I will check to the treasurer because I believe it was supposed to be that.
Mhm.
It was supposed to
Boy,
be
that's
because we paid for the listeners.
He's not even a
He was paying for his.
bathroom.
That's great, Angela. Great question.
That right, once the new garage is up. That's expensive.
Okay, any other questions?
I run job site trailer.
Wait a second. It's not a better deal.
Oh, we have a second, sorry. Made the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Keeping me on my toes. Roundtable. Yes, sir.
There was talks a while ago about CDs and it seemed like it just kind of fizzled out.
No, it hasn't fizzled out.
Oh,
I'm not talking about it yet because
you don't know.
that's gonna be, no, when we get closer to the end, right? We're gonna talk about all the capital money that we're putting aside now for the next 7 years to buy things,
Right.
right? We have to set up reserve accounts. Once we know what that is,
Right.
then we can look at the total over 7 years and say, okay, we've got so much each year that we can invest in those that will mature, but not knowing what that is yet,
Based on the audit,
can't do much,
right?
right?
Kind of waiting on that, on the.
Well, the audit and the capital plan, that money, we can put it all together in one pot and
Right.
invest it. And know we're not gonna spend it for 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? Build it up each year.
Did, okay.
Didn't forget you.
No, I know. I didn't know. There was Callie that evening was.
As far, I guess, yeah, let me answer that question another way. The audit will help us tell us also what we already have that we may be able to do something with once we get that cleaned up.
Yeah, copy. Okay.
So, yes.
Did the state get back to you on Lower Lane Bridge inspection?
I initially said no. I think I did see something. It didn't say a lot. If it did, I need to check because he asked me that same question earlier.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, Brian.
Okay, there's people in my garage every day asking me.
So I gotta look back at my email.
Revolving doors.
You're gonna stop going
I
outside.
want to say no, but I
Charging
I
admission.
can't say it with 100% confidence.
Mhm.
So I look again, but I will do that in the morning and get the board an answer on that.
Well, they were washing all the problems of the Riverton Bridge away this morning, so they got it back.
Oh, the bridge got a bath?
Yeah.
That must help.
No. No, it just blew more rust off.
Okay.
Made the holes bigger.
Yeah. That's all I got.
My brain's mush tonight, so I got nothing.
What? Carlos got nothing, right?
No, sir.
The only thing I have is, I
I was gonna ask for.
don't know if there was an email about it. I probably haven't got all of them since I got on from back home from vacation, but anything on if we're scheduling a meeting for negotiations?
No, I'm waiting on some proposal dates from them. I'll send them tomorrow. I don't have anything yet.
Okay.
I know that the union rep has agreed to it.
Okay.
It's usually the hardest part.
Is there a day this week that's back? Well,
Okay.
Nothing. Thanks.
Sorry. Couple things, I'll try to be quick. I was asked about, talking to Walmart about security. I talked to the chief first. He doesn't think it's going to be worthwhile because what they will basically do is they'll have somebody from security that is a toothless tiger, so to speak. What they're gonna do is observe, watch the videos, and then call the police. So doesn't really see it impacting or slowing down the number of calls they get from them. If anything, with somebody watching even closer that's hired, it may even increase the calls because they won't have any ability to detain, or any of that. So
we had a security guard unless the laws have changed when I was in retail and he could detain people and question them
it
and.
depends on what they hire as well. He doesn't see him going that route.
Well,
I can still pursue it, but
I think the options are, in my mind, they get a security guard or they start paying for security.
right, that's where I'm going next. I'm happy to talk to them about that.
Yeah, some
We did that with
reimbursement
Hilltop.
for,
Based on calls.
I wouldn't care if someone detained him and said, just put your stuff back and leave. So our police will do what they need to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Put that back out the door.
this was that,
You know,
this was a long time
good
ago.
Lord.
I worked at Harry's. We had one that
Can't live there.
Yeah.
had a room downstairs. He'd take
The
people.
world's changed since Harry's.
Well, I know, but
you get out the ball peen hammer and start smacking things.
Which hand do you want?
I also
Which
have
one?
more recent examples, not where I work, but of other stores that have security guards.
The next one real quick,
Yeah. I mean, that's the price.
website.
That
So
was a
we
great
have some
story.
information that I'll send out. We're still getting some quotes in, exploring some others. So we're still looking at it. There's a lot of options out there, and a lot of costs ranges as well. So we're just waiting on a couple more to come in. Well, I'll get these out to everybody once we get the last ones in. We can start talking more in detail and maybe talking about the top 2 or 3 that we want to bring in and talk to.
Are you interested in me sharing information with you, what we're doing for Trout Unlimited? Because we're changing our website for local chapter.
Okay.
Because it is changed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going through the process right now. We already have, I think, one vendor we're gonna bring in.
I'm happy to take the list and compare it to what we have
We
and
just get the information. sent
Sure.
to you.
yeah, absolutely. These, before you all go home, I want to just remind you of these. These are all the financial procedures that we've reviewed. And if I have to get the minutes of meetings to say that we did approve them, we voted, I just need signatures so I can put them in the system, put them online, put them on our website. Because they're all updated. All the revisions have been made. You can look at them again, but if you choose to, but I've had them on my desk now for some time, just waiting for an opportune time to get them all signed. That's really all they need. I'd like to get them all signed while you're all here tonight.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, pass it around. Hand it up.
If you're okay with it, if you want me to put them on our agenda and go through them again, we can. I don't think there's a need, honestly. That's just my opinion. Because we voted, if you remember, we went through all of these.
If we find a mistake, we
Like
can
to-
just have to redo them, that's all.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
No, I'm just saying, it's
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
But I can get them, that way I can get them updated. I can get the policies legally activated for like the credit card one updated and so on. And on our website, right? So people can see them. And then again, we've already touched on this. If anybody wants to take a look, this is what the finance director one looks like. We're gonna put that out. See what we get. Well, my guess is best case, I think it's gonna take 3 months. Worst case. I know other towns are 6 months into it and still looking, so.
When you send it out for us to review already.
Yeah.
You won't
Yep.
send it.
Yep. Yep, and we've incorporated the comments that came back with Ron into this and miles ahead of where we were from a staff
Are
standpoint.
we signing this one?
Do not sign until numbers are written in,
I see that, but why is it in?
because I keep them all together, so it doesn't happen. But this is the fun, this is one of the documents that we'll be filling out for those articles as well, so. Once we have the articles, that reserve fund policy, right? Once we start filling out these, then you can ask me about the PDs, because we'll know the numbers. So hopefully it's not that far down the road. You put it in the file. I don't keep them together.
Hey, Chris, are you really busy this week? Sorry, we should probably adjourn the meeting first.
I mean.
I'm just wondering, I'm taking most of the week off. I'm just wondering if I could. Okay, I'll make you.
No,
wait,
I got one more document on behalf of the fire chief.
Sorry,
He wants to share some
we were done.
stats, like you're asking for the police stats, he's ahead of us. He's got some
Nice.
fire department
I
stats.
like stats.
Nice.
Tell what's going on.
Thank you.
He thought I was.
This is from July 1st.
What?
This is from July 1st.
July 1st.
July 1st to July 23rd.
Wow.
So anyway, Vince and I probably for, I don't know, the last 6 months, probably we have a standing meeting at the end of the month. Well, we talk about most all these things here. When Ron, Vince and myself got together and looked at the job description, there were some measurable benchmarks, if you want to call it. That could be reported out to the select board. That may actually, I don't know what your copy is going to say. I think the report is actually going to be going to the town administrator, then go to the select board possibly. But this is what you will be seeing once a month at your second select board meeting of the month. So it's not going to be necessarily the whole 30 days of the month. If you see this, it's July 1st to the 23rd. And that was, I think, the date that both Vince and I, we had a meeting. So you're not getting it to the end of the month, but the next month, it'll be the July 24th to whatever date that the report was filed. So on there, those takeaways, the number of calls. So when you're talking about like alarm activations and we have an alarm ordinance that's still somewhere waiting in the wings, I want you to realize that we had a number of them that was burnt food, nothing found.
I saw that.
Okay, that's
Mhm.
really important to know.
Mhm.
What I can tell you is not the norm on here. It is the one motor vehicle accident. Motor vehicle accidents and alarm activations, they go side by side. There's something really weird about July. It's not normal. Alarm activations, motor vehicle accidents, pretty much the same. I will also tell you go down further and you're going to be looking at number of responders per call. And so what you're going to see is your minimum, your maximum, and your average. I can tell you that the maximum of 11 was on a Tuesday night and we had 2 calls. So that's an outlier. So that brings your average to probably a 4.3, I think it is.
4.2.
4.2, where I can tell you for 3 years, it's been anywhere between a 3.4 and a 3.6. For 3 years, that's the average. So that the 11, as far as responders go, is the outlier on 2 calls, and you're gonna see that change. I don't necessarily know if there's anything else towards the bottom that's worth speaking of. Thank you very much. Oh, just some of the community outreach that's on there, the training that's going through, staff changing, okay. People that leave, people that come, you'll see that. So you can see, either if there's a lot of people leaving, you're gonna say, Chief, what's going on? Right? The one individual that had to leave, he actually was going back to Germany. So it wasn't a matter of jumping ship and going to another town. And there's gonna be something on there as far as budget goes, and right now, beginning of the fiscal year, we're on track.
Nice.
But you will see that change.
So the question to the board on this that I have, right? Like Joe said, we've been working on this, trying to develop it right out of the gate. Is there anything, and again, I don't need an answer tonight, but just give me the feedback. Is there anything that's missing on here that the board would like to see? And are there things on here that you don't care about seeing and will downgrade? I'll keep working with this one with Joe, and we'll give you guys more of a summary version as well. It really comes down to what does the board want to see out of this, right? We're gonna try to do something similar with the police as well. Need to do that next, but started with Joe on this, so.
I think that's pretty sweet.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Initiated it.
Correct.
Thank you very much. FYI, at the very top, you do have telephone numbers. You have a cell number, which is my personal. You also have an email. So if you want to go through this, talking about add-ons or removal, whatever that is, or you want to reach out to myself, I'm more than willing to answer any questions and do it. I would think that the select board would want 1 page.
That's good.
Bullet pointed, whatever. And then if you have questions, then I can come in. I would come in anyway.
That's the only one that I would say would be, because it's what I do, would be equipment, major equipment failures or like a maintenance issue.
Okay.
That's the only, but if you
I'm
don't,
gonna see that as in fleet anyway.
yeah.
So I did have the Sourcey come in and do,
Oh, it is right there. Geez, I looked right past it. Okay. No,
it's fleet and not feet.
yeah,
But anyway,
I like it. Yeah,
so you'll get something on the trucks.
that's it.
Just one suggestion, me, I'm always, but my suggestion would be that you do it monthly and just give it to us at our first meeting, like July. At our first,
He's not gonna give it to you. He'll be here.
whatever.
He and I are gonna review it.
Then you have
And then-
comparables, like year to year, the dates are consistent, the
I like-
month to month.
Yeah,
It's just an idea. You
I think
can do
it's,
it however you
I think
want
it's
to.
good.
But that
I'm
way,
gonna say this.
And police are
lines up
gonna,
with my meeting with
chief's
them.
gonna do the same.
but you
Yeah,
can,
I
we don't
gotta-
have to
I gotta
have
work
it.
with-
Oh,
I'll talk to
I see what you're saying.
And set it up, but I
So
know
when I
that's.
sit down, I can talk to
Yeah.
Vince about everything
Yeah.
here. And you guys get
Yeah,
the same.
Yeah.
well, okay, or you could change your meeting with good.
Well,
I'm just teasing, do it however you want, it's just a suggestion.
So Joe, I'm not gonna meet with you, I'll just bring you in, you can. Carl and the board for me. How's that? I'm not gonna waste my time. You're on your own with them.
I just thought, because then there's, like year to year, this is the great information to have, to keep.
I'm gonna rib Timmy now.
The year, it's just gonna be different dates.
Timmy, you still listening?
Any other roundtable?
Trooper. No, I'm done. I think that's enough.
This is
Thank
really
you.
good, though.
No executive session, correct?
No, not what you want, but something.
I'm good.
Do.
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? We are adjourned.